potent forward line in the competition, led by the brilliant Buddy Franklin.
Big fly, Franklin. Rioli gets around. He's got all the goods, still Rioli.
While at the other end, today's opponent, Melbourne, has some exciting machines of their own.
He's kicked another one, Rodamiri. He's got 4.
Hi everyone, welcome along to the MCG as round 9 rolls on this afternoon. Melbourne take on Hawthorn, undefeated Hawthorn, and you've got to say, Tim, on paper at least, it does appear a mismatch.
It does, until Jeff opened his mouth during the week, and now there's some real intense rivalry between these clubs. So I don't know whether that was meant or it was engineered or was manufactured, but they will hit the line with a bit more intensity, these two sides.
Do you think you could be in league with Melbourne as a promoter?
I think so.
Because you can't have a fight at the weigh-in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Ben Holland comes into this side. I think he might get the job on Jared Roughhead. Aaron Davey, they need him firing upfield. He's one of their best ball carriers. Doesn't spend a lot of time inside the attacking 50. And Austin Wanamiri, who's just been a revelation this year. He is a wonderful little player. Very quick and a very good finisher too.
Jaden Lewis is out of the Hawthorn team, and Jared Morton comes in. His brother playing for Melbourne this afternoon. He's been in good form too. Kale Morton.
Yeah, they are one of the best forward line sides in the competition, the Hawthorn side. I've already mentioned Jared Roughhead. He and Lance Franklin take more contested marks over the last 3 weeks than they've actually taken uncontested. Now, that is unbelievable in modern-day football. Sirioli's a terrific player, plays up the ground, and Mark Williams, who's come back into this side and has kicked 13 goals, and he's a very good marking player. Great speed off the mark.
Is it Aaron Davey and also Chance Bateman to toss the coin?
Good luck, mate. Chance, good luck, mate. We'll just turn around this way, guys. Okay, Chance, it's your call today, mate. Tail's the call, and that's a tail.
Okay. Why wouldn't have been Chances having one of those years, isn't he? And so are the Hawks. So Bateman wins the toss on this Indigenous weekend against his mate Aaron Davey. Well, a couple of big outs Dennis has told you about. No Lewis and no White for respective teams. And we go down to Ricky.
As you said, Bruce, a couple of stars missing. Jordan Lewis couldn't overcome a cork tie from last week, so he's out of the side. And also Jeff White, he couldn't train yesterday because of back tightness, so Melbourne decided to pull him out of the side this morning. It's the first game he's missed since 2003, so I really miss him today. And it's only a small crowd, but with the retirement of David Neitz, has really stirred up some emotions. I'm sure the Melbourne boys will show some spirit today.
Thank you, Rick. The umpires this afternoon is one of them. Matthew James, the best bouncer in the league. Just officiating down there too, with a bit of law and order, getting a little unruly inside the centre square. Stephen Grun and Jason Armstrong alongside him. Had a big job. Is it Garland who's gone initially to Buddy Franklin? Wow. Good luck, son. And away we go. Sunday football, the opening bounce. No, the ruckman touched the ball. A chance for Jones, goes after it. Down goes Jamar. Oh, and Jamar copped one in there.
Let him go. Robbie, oh. Down. Cyril Rioli kick. Didn't have the ball.
Rioli's got a free. Jamar anxious to catch up with Campbell. Meantime, Rioli slips it across. Support from Morton. Goes back to Crode. Driving kick inside the forward 50. Jamar hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Buckley across to Jones. He's in the back pocket. Confronted by Mitchell. Warnock. Sweeping hand pass Maloney.
And Maloney's kick to centre wing. Bate made a contest. And a boundary throw in.
And Maloney has dumped Buddy Franklin behind play. Jones coming in to remonstrate. A lot of feeling in the early stages of this game. You'd expect that from Melbourne.
And then Jones besieged.
Get a footy. Your kick, buddy.
That's all great from Melbourne as long as they settle quickly and make the ball their focus.
And in doing so, they've left a couple of Hawks vacant. Morton almost a centre-half forward, so he's had one disposal so far. Maloney ran over the top of him. Davey makes the footy talk for a moment, wins a free kick.
Melbourne player down behind play too, just injured in that clash in the air.
And now the D's have got a loose man. It's Green, and then Green just pops into the goal square. Miller's the target. Getting back is Murphy and running it over the line.
Bring it out, guys. Clear the square. Play on.
Didn't see the first one, saw the second one. Surprising after what we saw before the bounce yesterday at the Dome, that wasn't a free kick. Franklin getting up after being put down, minding his own business, and Jones coming and collecting him.
There's the first hit from Buddy Franklin. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing untoward about that. Big jobs down there for some of the Melbourne defenders. Garland on Franklin. Warnock on Roughhead, giving away a lot of size there.
When would you tell Garland? Not last night, I reckon. You do it at about 1 this afternoon. Don't let him think about it. J. Mark tried to go to Brock McLean. Warnock, a couple of deft touches to Green, hugs the boundary line. Good mark. Birchall coming full-chested as Mark just inside the line towards the middle. Lovely kick, Ellis. He's about 65 metres out, Ellis. Kicks inside the forward 50. Leaping down there from behind was Osborne. Got hands to it. It goes out of bounds.
Hawthorn loves squaring up the ball back inside the corridor. Already in the early part of this game, they've kicked the ball back inside a couple of times. Bailey will be sending a message out to his players just to be aware of that fact.
J-Mar and Roughhead. Davey, good handball to McDonald. And the McDonald to Bate. Oh. That's a terrific mark.
He's got a lovely pair of hands, this kid.
Tim, in the 2 matches he's played, he's averaged 5 inside 50s in those games this year. I know it's only been a couple, but he started slowly against the Dockers and finished well, didn't he?
That's right. He turned that game around in the second half.
Mitchell, McLean, a couple of tough, hard at it number 5s there.
Good tackle. Good tackle. Well done, Brock.
He's been in great form. Sammy Mitchell's too, averaging 31 touches the last 3 weeks. He's their #1 clearance player. They'll put some special time and attention into him here. Jones has gone to him.
Play on.
Campbell just won the tap. Bate, he's lefty, but he goes back. Not much room for Melbourne to work in at the moment. They've done okay. Bruce's handball a bit sloppy. McLean had to sit and wait. Centering ball's okay. And then on the up, good handball from Maloney, but pressure again.
Buckley penalised. Roughhead kept at it. Melbourne getting plenty of the footy. Roughhead comes out wide. Bateman waits, takes it, wants to go. Sold himself into a bit of trouble, but has that for a finish. Perfect to Ladson.
Yeah, while you're up, stay up, meter up.
Hawthorn, the second best side in the competition at finding a target inside their attacking 50. And they're the best side in the competition actually scoring from times in. So they are a well-drilled side. They look to find that space. And they've got some skillful players playing up the ground too that can hit the free target.
20 seconds.
Ladson on the clock. The trainer out to Robbo, who crashed heavily in the opening minute.
Thank you.
Ladson, meantime, trying to work it back left to right, and does so successfully.
Well, you couldn't question the endeavour of Melbourne in the early part of this game. They just turned the ball over again in the centre of the ground by inability to be able to move the ball. They got caught up in that tackle, but they had the numbers there. It just was the fact that they couldn't get the ball across clearly or quickly enough.
One of those unsung heroes, isn't he, Ladson? He's only missed a couple of games of the last 3 years. He's really establishing himself. 24 years of age. So the Hawks get the first. It's been a bright opening. Plenty to talk about before the match. And in the first 5 minutes, Davey's been busy. Bate. And 2 minds there to whether you take Ladson on or not. And then held up Birchall. Bateman. Good pressure from the Demons. Back to Maloney. Back to McLean's had a bit of it early. Now Bruce with the important kick. He decides to load it up and go to about 20 metres out. Holland made a good contest. Robbo held on to a free kick.
Oh. That was clever, wasn't it, Robbo?
Yep. Didn't take possession of the footy. Thanks, Sully, back here.
Umpire explaining exactly what he did then, Robbo.
Thank you.
On both occasions, Melbourne, when they've gone forward, they've been prepared to kick the ball really long and high. Obviously, Holland, his job today is to make sure that he actually provides that contest for them.
Don't jump over, Crony.
So only a couple of goals this season in the first half, so this will be just the start he wants. And I reckon he has... no, he's got it. He brought it back.
He played well for that free kick then, Robbo. Interestingly, across half-back, Davies been lining up across there. At the other end of the ground, Hawthorn have got the free player, Ladson, and he will get plenty of the ball if they persist with that. There's the contest from Holland. That's all you need from him. He may mark those on occasion, but as long as he provides the contest, that's all that Dean Bailey will be asking, and they're the ones that Wanamiri will swoop in on if he gets half a chance.
Robbo's got 18 goals for the season, 397 career goals now. Could be a milestone day for him. Taylor hooks it down behind. Miller, last time we saw them play, was very good. McLean came back to Maloney. Going to ground, Wanamiri, and he's going to get a free kick.
Back here, no, Austin.
Early signs are good for Melbourne.
Austin's
Yes.
back here, Austin. Round
Playing
here.
with energy at the moment.
Stay there.
Wanamiri is star too in that victory over Fremantle. Comes a long way back, went for distance. Green's got it on the wing. Lucky there was no breeze. Kicks back inside the forward 50. In from the side, Johnson. Fisted away by the Hawks. They're there in number. This is Gillam. Hugs the boundary with a kick. Leading in the race, Rioli. Well played by McDonald. Favoured by the bounce. Well played by Rioli. Took him down. Scramble. And the ball eventually comes out to Jones. Back to McDonald. A hand pass looped across eventually. Taken by Ladson. Mitchell. And now Gillam tidying up. Kennedy getting a touch in there that was important.
Play on!
So the Hawks to set up. Terrific crowd here too. They're making a noise. Well over 40,000. You'd think that was a bit too easy. Brown bangs it. Saul couldn't quite, but now he gets the run of it. He's a hard man to knock off it. He's taken 2 on. He'll take a 3rd on. He's a competitor, isn't he?
I love the way that he plays his football. It was a 1-on-3 there at one stage, Sewell.
Thanks, guys.
They had the numbers there, Melbourne, but he just kept battling away. 3 efforts here.
Thanks, mate.
Unable to control the ball, got back. In the end, he just neutralised the situation. And now they get their stoppage.
So J-Mo got his chance with White missing out today. Couldn't come up, injured. So Maloney kicks to half forward. Bircher was there. Wanamiri, still with Wanamiri, goes back to Valenti. Only his 2nd game. And then McLean, who's got a lot of the footy early. That long ball in, Robbo and Crode. Miller, and now Robertson. Can he hang on? No. Good tackle from Murphy. And then Morton's handball to Mitchell. And Mitchell to set it up with a neat kick to Kennedy and Crode to run.
Crode inside the centre square. Only Robbo could do that. Down towards half forward. Wonderful gutsy mark. Green going back with a flight of it. Thought about coming across the ground. Then checks, goes back to Buckley on the outer side wing. Now Miller's got some separation. The kick not good though. Rueful look back from Miller. Needed to carry the ball, did Buckley, to this man. Well, pitched a couple of metres short. Longer rather than shorter was the key there after the boundary throw in. Mitchell having a wonderful season. Knocked out last week. Still came back to have a real influence on that game. He's inside the centre square. He's stopped. Feeds it back. Stewie Duke kicks it a long way. Takes a bit off this one. Bell was up. Williams a chance. Bell got a hand on it. Williams 70 metres from goal. Feeds it back into the path of Kennedy. Run down from behind. Osborne's got it now. In trouble. A hand pass over the shoulder. Clark gave it to Kennedy. Kicks it down towards full forward. Missed by Johnson. Roughhead, as you can see, outnumbered. Got some help. Hasn't got the football. Cale Morton gets a hand pass across. And in the back pocket, Warnock goes with his wrong foot to the outer side. And a strong mark taken out there by Miller.
They had to stick. It was a 1-on-3.
And then McLean to Wanamiri. It was a great mark, wasn't it, Timmy?
That's a contested mark.
Wanamiri to half forward. Holland's the big target there. They've been prepared to go to him in a contest, haven't they?
I like the way they're setting up too, because they've got Holland actually coming out of the goal square. They've got Robbo inside there. They've got Wanamiri. They've also got Miller pushing up the ground and Bate as well. So they've got some marking power inside their forward line.
Maloney's had a bit of it early. Back to Morton to Buckley. Now his last kick missed the target. He was aiming for Miller a couple of minutes ago. That one hard and high. Robbo!
Oh.
Well, their intentions are clear, Bruce. They have kicked the ball long and high to a contest on 4 occasions already. That is a classic mark there by Robbo. 4 deep, bang, on the chest. How many times have we seen him take a mark like that over the years?
Well, that 400 club that Dennis talked about, he's getting closer to Neeks, the famous Norm Smith, Gary Lyon, and Fanning. Some big names there in the 400 club as he brought that one back. Funny old kick for the 2nd time. And a big miss, really.
You've got to keep that scoreboard pressure on a side like Hawthorn early in the contest. But the pleasing thing is that the intensity is there at the moment for Melbourne. They are taking the challenge right up to Hawthorn.
Don't look overmatched, do they? This is Birchall in the back pocket. Needed to be pinpoint and wasn't. Bate came across, took the mark. He's about 60 metres out. Untidy kick by Birchall. Now Bate still outside the 50 as they skirt the perimeter. This is Bruce. Where's Robbo? Lurking in the square. Wow. How's that for coughing it up? Birchall, a chance to make amends, goes to the middle. Bateman, that's terrible by Melbourne. Bateman's kick inside the forward 50. Franklin, all the wrong things happening there. People they don't want getting touches as a result of a terrible mistake by a veteran. Franklin runs around and kicks a goal.
I don't think they've got the defenders to stop Buddy Franklin. In fact, there's very few sides in the competition that have a defender to stop Buddy Franklin. All you can do is stop the flow of the ball and make sure at different stages it's going to get down there probably 50 times for a side like Hawthorn. But you've just got to make sure that you slow the supply of the ball so you can get back in numbers for those defenders to have some assistance. He's a wonderful player, this fella. That's a big job for a young kid, Garland, isn't it, to play on someone like Buddy Franklin. You look at it now, he's just isolated. There's just him and Buddy and no one within 30 metres of them.
Well, in age, Tim, there's only a year between them, but there's a very big gulf in terms of what they've achieved so far. In that last 2 minutes, Robbo misses the goal. Cameron Bruce kicks into the man on the mark. 2 of the most experienced players.
Just look at that, the space around him there to operate in, and that is dangerous for a young kid on somebody like Buddy Franklin, given the speed that Buddy takes off with.
Given also that the bloke in front of him 30 metres is Roughhead, who's not about playing his own right.
Straight back to him.
Brad Green's just pushing back into that hole just to give some assistance when he can.
Play on your wing.
So Jamar now asked to play on. Doesn't have many kicks, Jamar, and that one is a difficult one to get hold of. Holland made a contest again and then crashes into Bateman, who did very well. Mitchell, brilliant. To Clark, to Rioli. Good kick to Williams. Couldn't quite get there. Frawley. Got to keep his feet now. Free kick, I think, to Rioli.
He has been fantastic this year, Rioli. You just wonder with a kid like this whether or not he's going to be able to play a whole season out in his first year of footy, whether or not they give him a rest at some stage between now and the finals, Hawthorn. It's a real management issue for them.
He certainly made a huge impact. Jamar fills the spot, can't take the mark. Warnock under pressure. And then Garland quickly over the line. He could feel Buddy's breath on his shoulder.
I think you're right about that. He had to take that mark just to take the pressure off the rest of the defence. Plenty of space here to operate in, though.
McLean, well, it's not the kids making the mistakes for Melbourne at the moment. Davey, in a pretty good form lately, goes down towards half forward. Beautiful kick. Holland presenting to Bate, 60 metres out. Bate gets a kick through down towards Robertson. Close to the boundary line, Robertson. Worked off the line of it by Crode. They've got the extra man down there. Gillum gave it to Crode. He's in desperate trouble. Gillum follows up again. Flicks it across towards Campbell. Mitchell goes back to Murphy. Murphy shows a lot of it to Miller. Got a hand to it. Again outnumbered. Dew storms away. Drives it towards the outer side wing. Bateman judged it well in flight. Has the football. Comes to the middle. They've got 2 to choose from. Hawthorn. Clark to Campbell. Running down towards half forward. Long kick. Roughhead works in front. Should have marked it. Spills to the back. Off the ground by Williams. And he's missed.
Thanks, Mark. Couple more. 3 more metres, Mark.
Campbell's improved a lot, hasn't he?
He has.
Dennis caught him a couple of times there. Gee, he's done some good things.
Actually, their ruck division is as good as any in the competition. Underrated, too.
That kick from Cameron Bruce just touched by Bate before it runs over the line.
Bateman's a much improved player too. He's gone up into the elite class of midfielders in this competition.
He took so long, Tim, to get to 50 games. I remember him saying he'd be the first Indigenous player to do it. Now he's at 100. He's absolutely blooming, isn't he? Here's Saul, bang and crashing, but well done, Bate, who's had a terrific opening term out wide. Here's McDonald. Now can Davey go here? One bounce, trying to run him down. Kicking towards full forward. Robertson gets almost a crack at Gillum there, not quite. And now Birchall comes away. And the Hawks get it to centre wing. Good effort by this youngster, Morton. It's been impressive. Inboard. Ladson, who kicked the first goal today.
Ladson inside the centre square, back over the shoulder. Advantage is paid. Morton
Bring it back, no advantage.
a little undecided. The umpire making the call, no advantage. And that was right. Ladson's got it beside the centre circle. Sets it up. Not a bad kick either. Going back. Strong mark by Campbell.
Straight back.
That was gutsy.
Jump out.
It was a courageous mark, but here we see here's the free kick against Wanamiri in the back. I thought it was almost a throw, actually, the way that he just shoveled it out. And Campbell always in the right position, just leaning on Jamar as he pushed back into the hole. Perhaps the other Melbourne defenders just didn't react quickly enough.
He'll kick from 30 and extends the lead.
They really are good on the break, Hawthorn. They're the #1 uncontested possession side in the competition. That doesn't mean that they don't like to play in tough in the trenches. It just means that they can monopolise the ball once they get control of it. They're very good at finding a free player, and when they do, they rarely give the ball up unless they're pressured out of that situation. So they're going to test Melbourne all afternoon, and Melbourne are going to need to take the most or make the most of their opportunities when they go forward.
Kick 5 without a miss this season, Campbell. Down to you, Rick.
Well, Melbourne have changed their deck chairs pretty early. Davey, who started half-back, has now moved onto the wing. They brought Frawley from the bench onto Williams, and Bell's been moved over to Tiroli. And what Brad Green's doing, he's going across half-back and just filling in space.
So a lot to look for from the Demons. Dean Bailey trying a few things. Maloney tried to barge through, couldn't.
Only took one step, no prior opportunity.
I reckon he might have been lucky
He only
then.
had one step though, Sam.
One
That's
step,
too hot.
but he did have prior
Answer there.
opportunity. Well explained by the umpire. There's Dean Bailey. He'd be reasonably happy with what he's seen so far in this first quarter.
In the side.
Campbell just pushed Jamar out. You heard the umpire say
My ball.
in the
So
side.
nowhere, guys.
McDonald's picked
Thanks,
up
Sam.
Surioli this afternoon. It just shows you what opposition sides are thinking of Surioli. The young kid in his first year of AFL football. He's been their #1 stopper in the past for Melbourne and McDonald.
Sam, play on.
Campbell's second effort. Birchall just went without it. Clark, the hip and shoulder, good on him. Buckley, nice soft hands for the moment. He dropped it, Davey. Back to Buckley. Again, a reasonable handball. And then Bartram weaves his way through and then lets himself down a bit with a kick. Bate attacks hard. Bartram back. Gee, Bate has had so much of the footy. That one not so good. To Bell. They go back to Garland. That's a good-looking kick wide. If Miller can make it, he does. And he's got the youngster on here, and Morton gets over the top. Now can Morton come inside to McLean? He does. McLean, it's tight, it's rolling. Well done by Dew to get back.
There is not a player in the competition that doesn't fancy himself by actually being able to bounce a ball through for a goal. Every player believes they've got the ability to be able to do that, to get the right bounce on the ball.
And that was heading in the right direction, wasn't it?
Certainly was. Here's Brown, got it from Ladson towards the outer side wing. Campbell, he started very well. Just forward of left half back. His side up by 11 points. Perhaps a tad flattering. More system from the Hawks. This is Birchall, but no lack of endeavour from the D's. Birchall to Ladson. Morton, like him. Ladson close to the boundary line, sliding in Clark, a man who can run all day.
Melbourne are conceding those possessions deep in Hawthorn's back half. They're just preparing themselves further up the field.
Here's Dew, got it from Ladson, looks across the ground. Now they've got two men striding up. Gillum is number 27, Brown alongside, Valentia right quickly, just off the bench. And as a result, Melbourne with the footy. McLean went to Robertson, to Davey. How quickly that changed. Wanamiri, their only man inside the forward 50, and Davey did very well to get him the footy. He needs to go back and take a deliberate shot. Davey suddenly, in the last month or so, rediscovering those silky skills. That's a lovely kick. Austin Wanamiri. Pretty good angle. Takes a step to his right and finishes the job.
That's his 11th goal for the year. He's kicking about 76%, but when they turned the ball over, Davey found some space, as he can do. He's a wonderful kick. Davey generally hits his target, and this is a good finish too from a low percentage position, and he has been a real spark for this Melbourne side since he came in. And doesn't he love his football? One of the better celebrations in the game.
Keep coming straight up.
Good finish after a beautiful pass. He likes that punt road end, doesn't he? Wanamiri.
Yeah.
Late in that match against the Dockers, he was getting very excited.
2 arms around him. Something Tyler's kick. 2 arms around him.
So no Jeff White in the centre square for the D's today. So Johnson there infringing. Jamar the other one coming in quickly was Wanamiri. Murphy's handball, a bit untidy. Birchall did well. Morton had to wait. Wasn't quite taken out by Miller. Gee, Morton's doing well. That kick unfortunately to Green.
That's great though. That's great pressure from Melbourne in the midfield then that forced Hawthorn to cough the ball up.
So McLean, this will be his 9th disposal in this opening term. Kicks down the line, a good one to Wanamiri.
Holland's on here.
Yeah.
Now Holland in the pocket. It's a pretty good kick. Dew did well to get back. Then Holland to Valenti. Valenti's got Hawks all around him. Brown crashing and bashing. McLean got him. Dew it was, sorry, not Brown.
I think there's a couple of those Hawthorn defenders at the moment that just aren't paying enough respect to some of these Melbourne players. They're playing a long way off them, believing that they'll just catch them when they need to.
So a 10th first quarter disposal for Brock McLean. Kicks the ball inside the 50. Robertson a target. Well done by Ellison. Now Saul to run it out.
Under pressure though, the Hawks. Up towards midfield they run then. Franklin involved to Osborne. Now Young. Probing kick inside the forward 50. Williams got to push off with a boot. Gets his second chance. Rioli feeds it back towards the middle. Guess who? Franklin with the right boot. And he's missed to the left-hand side.
She covered some distance.
Didn't
Then
he?
he started at 7.5 back. He actually fed the handball off to Sammy Mitchell way back there.
Mark!
He was like a greyhound.
A very fast one, isn't he? He's an athlete and a half. Miller, who played very well against the Dockers when they won that match a fortnight back. Centering ball to Bruce. To Davey, who's had a fantastic opening quarter. Finds some space. A bit of a cute kick. Johnson, Morton, Wanamiri, good hands. Jones to finish. What a great bit of play by the D's.
It wasn't a great bit of play here by Aaron Davey, but just a sidestep just got them a little bit of space. A kick off the side of his boot. He looked down deep. There was nothing on offer down there. They had the numbers at half forward. And in the end, it was just a matter of shuffling the ball around and getting it to the free player. And that was a good finish by Jones. But this has been an impressive first quarter by Melbourne.
Terrific finish after some hard work and plenty of pressure from the D's. Look at that, 21 points apiece. Like Michael Sipe. There's the bounce in the centre. One down by Taylor. Trying to crash his way out, Sewell. They're being tested physically at the moment. The kick from Crow bounces down towards half forward. Pushed in front down there by Warnock. Unfortunately for the D's, it came to Osborne. Kicks inside the forward 50. Peeling off and coming with good anticipation. Frawley slips a hand pass away. Warnock to Green. In the back pocket. Over the head of Bruce, which confused the man who was bearing down Osborne. Now McLean's got it. On the defensive 50, runners in the middle. Green, well, not a good kick. Young will bring it back. Bell had given it earlier to Green, and Green had space to do something with it. Went short. Now Young, a second opportunity. Warnock, awkward half volley. Wonderful balance by Franklin. Commitment by Bartram. Down goes Frawley. What will the umpire do? He'll ball it up.
That was a good call then, Dennis. Wonderful balance there by Franklin. Two Melbourne players lost their footing, and Franklin stayed upright until this tackle.
Roughead, who does the ruck work up forward. McDonald read it best, so McDonald comes away. And the Indigenous players for Melbourne have had a wonderful opening term. Wanamiri and Davey. Now Buckley, little kick, good one down the line. Valenti, Wanamiri again with a bounce. What does he do here? Comes inside, tries to deliver. Well done at the back by Murphy to belt it away. A ball to be won. Buckley kept his eyes on it. So did Morton, who's been very impressive. But a good contest all round.
It's been a fantastic first quarter by Melbourne. They're taking the challenge right up to Hawthorn, as Collingwood did on Friday night. I mean, they showed everybody in this competition all you need to do is harass, chase, tackle, put pressure on the opposition, and you'll stop them from playing the way they want to.
See, this kid's been impressive. Morton falling to the ground, coughed it up that time though. McLean kicks it down towards the pocket, and Robbo. So a chance for Melbourne to lead at quarter time. Clock running down.
He's been sparkling in this first quarter. McLean's had 13 touches. He gets them in tight where they're hard to win too. Great pressure again from Melbourne, just stopping Hawthorn from rebounding. They love to be able to control the ball across half-back, share it amongst themselves and create their forward attack.
To put this in context, Melbourne haven't won a first half quarter this season. They have now. Robertson creeps closer to 400. There's a bit of passion this afternoon for the D's. And a good crowd has turned out to honour their retired former skipper, David Neitz. And that is spilling over right now. At the MCG on Sunday footy, Melbourne at 4-3, Hawthorn at 3-3.
The best of cooking, best brands, best prices, now at Harvey Norman. Say goodbye to oven cleaning. The pyrolytic technology featured in this Smeg multifunction oven makes it a self-cleaning dream for $19.90. While Fisher & Paykel have used touch controls for easy, clean convenience in this fast-heating Seren cooktop for $9.49. And enjoy European excellence cooking on the Ariston freestanding range with boneless stainless steel canopy. Backed by our 110% price promise, the best of cooking on show now at Harvey Norman.
New Mazda 6 comes with something few other cars can match. Stunning praise from Motor Magazine.
For all-round excellence, nothing can beat the Mazda 6. It's impossible not to like.
Stunning praise from Wheels Magazine.
The new Mazda 6 is class-leadingly impressive, inside and out.
And stunning praise from Go Auto.
Most cars have a fatal flaw, but not this one.
New Mazda 6. Stunning from the start.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I'm good as a fan, man. I'm freezing out there, man. I'm traveling like that hot share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to do on Carrot, Tiger, on Blue, Bob, lay down deep on Johnny, Carry on, Doorbell, Bassfield, Townsville, Carolina, Box, like Lake Charles.
Big Pond, Australia's greatest wireless broadband coverage, is now even faster. Get half-price wireless broadband access for the first 6 months, plus a rebate of up to $299 on your wireless device when you sign up to a 36-month plan.
A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And it's official. Australia's the driest country on earth. But it's not all bad. The cricket pitches are getting faster, the lawn's easier to mow, and the snags are finally cooking themselves. UV might be the problem, but BB Mid's the answer. So grab your 30 plus and toast that big angry ball in the sky. Because a 12-month summer needs a big gold beer. And the best cold beer is VB.
Every true AFL fan knows what makes an unforgettable grab. The perfect timing, being completely focused, and grabbing hold with both hands. Truly spectacular. Once you've got your hands on it, there's no letting go. The Whopper, official burger of the AFL.
the moment cometh the man.
He flew through a hole.
Roosters playmaker Braithen Astor joins Andy Raymond this Tuesday.
Plenty happening on the club scene.
As all the team lineups for round 12 are in this NRL teams live Tuesday 6:30 Fox Sports 2.
I am the pride of Brisbane Town.
I am Tiger Tough.
I'm 150 years old.
I am a purple hay.
I am raw power.
I'm a pie with sauce.
I am beer in a plastic cup. Hey.
I'm 90,000 screaming fans.
I am the last Saturday in September.
I am the first bounce.
I am a kick after the game.
Whatever footy means to you, in 2008, Fox Sports means the best for AFL fans. With 4 live games every round, replays of every game, 4 dedicated weekly AFL shows, plus up-to-the-minute coverage on Fox Sports News. In 2008, footy means Fox Sports AFL.
Is 27-21. Robbo's got 2, but what else has he got, Ricky?
Well, I'm just next to the Melbourne huddle at the moment, Bruce. Russell Robinson, he copped a heavy knock early in that first score. I think Tim made mention to that. And he's actually got a cork fight in his upper right leg, so probably did affect his goal kicking. He had some treatment on that, but he should be okay to go. Now, the Melbourne fans behind me who had the real chant going just as the players came in. The players were fired up, but then Dean Bailey actually tried to settle the players down, but said he wants to keep focused on the pressure that he's putting on the Hawks team. Now, the other thing he did look at was a matchup on Sam Mitchell. He said he'd given Sam Mitchell too much space. Nathan Jones started on him in that quarter. You may find a move made there.
Thanks, Rick. So keep an eye on Robbo and what happens with Sam Mitchell. One of the things that was really noticeable, Tim, was the way Melbourne were prepared to go long into their 50.
I reckon as part of their planning, they've decided that they can attack this Hawthorn defence. There are 3 talls down there, Murphy, Gillum and Crode. And this is what they were prepared to do. They were prepared to go long and high and penetrate deep into their own forward line and just hope that at ground level it was going to be Wanamiri and Davey who had the speed to push in on those crumbs too. And it's been effective for them in this first quarter of football. Robbo's been terrific. Crode's got the job on him. And I think that they will continue to persist with that style of football in this second quarter. Uncontested possession too. Number 1 side in the competition, Hawthorn. Melbourne have beaten them in that area too in the first quarter, and that would be an area of concern. If they can maintain this, and that's a big if because they're playing against an excellent side, but if they can maintain that type of intensity around the contest, they're right into this game with a chance.
What about Jared Morton? 8 possessions. There's Russell Robertson, 2 goals, creeping ever closer to 400. But Morton in the side, late replacement for Lewis, and he's getting a lot of the football and looks very accomplished. His brother Cale is probably the more touted of these 2 brothers this afternoon. Hasn't seen a lot of it. Started on the bench for Melbourne, and of course Mitch, the more experienced, as we said earlier, playing with Richmond after a turn with the West Coast Eagles. So a bit to like about that opening term from Melbourne. In fact, a lot to like. You look back over the career of their coach Dean Bailey. There's Shane Crawford in the crowd. Buddy Franklin has kicked a 1 goal after a terrible turnover. Dean Bailey's last game as a player was against Hawthorn, and in 7 games against the Hawks as an Essendon player experienced 1 win. Wouldn't it be ironic if something happened here this afternoon that was memorable? They've taken the first step. They've matched the Hawks. We saw Geelong buckle on Friday night. Could this be the weekend? Second term, Melbourne by 6 points and a long way to go. There's the bounce. Jamar with the leap. Campbell did brilliantly. Got it down to Ellis, who took a while to control the ball and sold himself into trouble. Coming the other way was McDonald, so another bounce. Grey, cloudy day now. Breeze not a factor. Ladson, Brown, Dew, Brown kicks inside the forward 50. Leaped down there by Roughhead. Missed it completely. Leading back is Warnock. Nowhere to go. Just escorts it across the line.
Just watching that last stoppage, Campbell, Brown and also Ladson just hanging off the back of that stoppage. That's where Hawthorn like to feed the ball, when they can get those free players.
J-Man and Roughhead won the tap. Rioli went to ground. Williams clever, back to Clark, goes back to Saul, gets around 1 or 2 and then handballs to the hot spot, but Bruce was up for it to Bartram. Let's see how Melbourne can bring it out. Now Jones, pressure though, broke the tackle pretty easily there, Buckley. Jamar to Bell. They come out wide.
Wanamiri's free again.
So Robertson up the ground. Bruce run down by Bateman. Threw it out.
Kick it, Austin. No chance, Bateman.
Wanamiri had 8 touches in the first quarter and was an excellent contributor. Again, when they went forward, he was free by 25 metres.
Gee, Bateman was flirting a bit there. And Bate now gets it from Holland. Now he's a pretty long kick, Bate, and he's given it a ride. Getting back, Gillam. And then Gillam just pushes forward, and away go the Hawks.
Ladson to the outer side. Tricky situation for Bate. He really had to get all he had because the only man back was Gillam. And Holland's done okay too, getting up there and knocking it away from Clark. Second term, Melbourne lead it by 6 points.
Up, guys.
That's
Don't hold
right,
off the
Melbourne.
ball. Let him run,
Throwing
Brent.
in, outer side. Jamar missed it, but was
Melbourne
interfered
free.
with. Given that nudge as he was flying there. There's Davey. All sorts of instructions. Likes that matchup against Campbell coming at him. Bartram, an emerging player. Men on the mark right on the 50.
That's it.
Bartram's now picking up Bateman.
Robbo leads to the pocket. He honours the lead if you don't mind. Robbo goes down low, wants a free kick, pleads his case, won't win it. And the umpire in perfect position. Not much to that. So a boundary throw in.
Holland doing the ruck work. And Gillam against him, and then Saul and McLean. And that might have been on the fall against McLean, so
Saul's kick.
that's a bad break for the D's.
Back over the line. Back over the line.
Gee.
They should be able to work this out, Hawthorn, and find a free player. There's 2 Melbourne players across half back on their own, so there's got to be 2 Hawthorn players further down the ground. That's a terrible kick, though, to clear the ball.
But Wanamiri's anticipation was again terrific. He's got a real orientation about him, hasn't he? He knows exactly where he is on the footy ground.
He gets to the ball quickly, too. He's very quick.
Well, he kicked a very clever goal from a set shot in the first quarter. This is a bit more difficult being a right footer.
I see, mate. If I can't see it.
In the right forward pocket. The angle's similar.
It's 20 gone.
Just that his right leg's closer to the boundary line. He's brought it back. Hasn't quite got there. Doesn't matter. Holland kicks the goal. He's had a good start, Big Ben.
Well, here's the kick that was supposed to clear the defensive part of the ground for Hawthorn. Didn't hit its target. Sewell just deciding to go for the long kick to Murphy. He had a target shorter. They had the numbers back there. 2 extra Melbourne players were across half back. So all they needed to do was just wait, sort themselves out, Hawthorn, and they were going to be able to find a free player. But there's Wanamiri, who has been terrific in the first quarter and again has started this second quarter well.
Oh, that was so good by Wanamiri. Never seen 5 vowels move so quickly. He scooted down to that pocket. The kick was careful. I tell you what, Holland wasn't that careful. He was right on the line there. Could have gone back and taken the kick directly in front. Decided against it. Down goes Jones. Ladson. Mitchell coughed it up again. Johnson to Bate. Was he pushed in the back? He may get this. No. Yes, he will.
They've got a mismatch there. Wanamiri's been picked up by Murphy. He's just going to have too much speed and agility for him. Definitely a free kick then, just going straight into the back.
Ellis, the offending player, and Melbourne just getting the rub of the green, so to speak, with the umpires at the moment. Clad in green and looking sartorial. There goes the kick. Deep into attack from behind Holland, looking for the chest mark. It falls in front. Oh, great commitment. Great tackle. Everything coming from Melbourne at the moment. Holland is hurt. The tackle came from Wanamiri on Gillam. But Holland is staying out there, but doesn't want to do the ruck duties. Realised, I think, that Jamar was in position anyway. It's directed down to Ellis. Gillam in the back pocket. Some indecision. Looks up towards the middle. Again, a poor kick. Having to work. Franklin did okay. Seated. He gave it to Birchall, who feeds it back to Murphy.
And then Murphy, a little undecided. Ladson's handball good. Releases Ellis. Uncertain where to go, though. Back to Ladson. They've got to think their way through this. Osborne running hard. They've done okay here, Hawthorn. And Birchall decides to go with a long one. Rough head, one of the targets. Well done there from Bell. Getting across. Johnson will use Warnock, and then Warnock inside. They've done very well. Garland back to Warnock, who kicks it beautifully to Miller. On to Buckley. Holland sits and waits. Got crunched. Ball still in. He is hurt, Holland. Still trying to get the footy out. Gillam's there. Buckley, does he hold his feet? He does. He's been important, Buckley. Gets a bit on it, but unfortunately Brown read it best.
Wanamiri was free. Again, Campbell Brown was guarding two of the Melbourne forwards inside their attacking 50.
Down to you, Rick.
Just a bit more on Ben Holland. He was actually coming from the ground then when the ball came to him. He actually dislocated his shoulder last year, and that's a problem he's having at the moment. He just got crunched before, but at the moment he's going to stay out there.
Murphy to Dew. Lays it off. Mitchell trying to generate something in midfield. Here's Bateman going down towards half forward. Lovely kick. Now Clark, 60 metres out. He's not normally a long kick. This one a slow kick to the pocket. Williams from behind in front, Roughhead.
Well, Green's sitting back there as a free player across half-back, but what he has to do is when he sees a free player like Clark push up to the contest, he actually has to play as a defender. Then he can't just be a player who's going to drift between contest and play hard on him. They just allowed the ball in there far too easily then, Melbourne.
Melbourne by 12 points. Roughhead, sharp angle, kicks and kicks truly. A settler.
Well, that's his first disposal of the game, so he's been well held by... It's Warnock that's played on him, so he's done a pretty good job on him. That marking contest there, he is always in the incorrect position, just unable to push back hard against Roughhead and spoil him in any way. But Roughhead and also Franklin, they're the two key marking forwards. They're the players that the Hawks will go to deep in their forward line.
Jeff Kennett on the left, Paul Gardner in the middle, the two presidents of the clubs who've had a pretty interesting week with one another, and Mike Fitzpatrick, the chairman of the AFL. All close together there.
Mine. Virtual's now gone to Wanamiri. I think what Al Clarkson's trying to do, because they love the drive and they run of Virtual, they believe that Wanamiri may be the weaker player at actually chasing out of the forward line, so they're trying to free him up.
That was Hawthorn's first goal in 18 minutes. Melbourne have kicked the last 4. So as Dennis said, it was the steadier. Taylor drops it down in front. Saul gets in there. Mitchell gets in there.
No, he's just trying to get it. Thanks, Sam.
You reckon, Tim, if it's a real arm wrestle in there, no matter how determined Melbourne will be, Hawthorn will wear them down eventually.
Well, they'll miss Jordan Lewis, though. He's one of their guns inside there.
Good point. So Johnson to Bruce, and then Bruce wide.
They're on here.
Here's Morton. His brother's made such an impression in his debut. Morton has had a good start to his career too. That's an up and under kick. Robbo fell over, and then belting it away, Crowd, finding the line.
Actually, just talking about the Mortons, their dad Noel was a dashing defender in Claremont's WAFL Premiership team in 1981. There's the boundary throw in. Johnson flicks it down behind. McLean a strong tackle. Osborne's got the footy and holding the ball. McLean gets the free.
He's been picked up by... at the moment, he's been picked up by Sewell. Sewell's just slowed him down a bit in this second quarter. Had 13 touches in the first quarter, McLean. That's his 14th for the game.
James McDonald just forward of the wing. We'll come back to Brock McLean, who's further from goal than last time. He's about 80 metres out now. Running on his Buckley. This kid is very good at getting the ball. His disposal, not the best, but I think if you were looking at Melbourne and you supported them, that's the priority, getting it. You'd be happy with the situation at the moment. Just sets it up towards the pocket. Johnson punched away. Is that deliberate? Not according to the umpire. Taylor just drifting in. Talking about Noel Morton and his sons, you look at that premiership team of 81 in the WAFL as Dean Bailey is turning around talking to his mates. The coach's box, Dew dragged down. Bateman claimed by Davey. And the umpire will ball it up. Talk about talent. Graham Moss was the captain coach. Jim and Phil Cracker, Wayne Blackwell, Steve Malaxis, Alan Daniels, Gary Shaw, Warren Ralph, and about 3 other guys who played in the VFL. Jones hurriedly onto the boot. Bateman, a West Australian, played for Perth. In the back pocket. Hand passes wide. Birchall, a Tasmanian, feeds it forward. Mitchell's got it now. A Star out wide with the run of it. Young, hammerlock, submission hold. Wallaby Bob McMaster dives in and counts 3.
Thanks, Youngie. Straight back, please. Straight back.
Had a feeling a moment ago, Tim, that the footy was interfering with a very good story that Dennis was trying to get out.
It was.
It was a history lesson.
Morton short. So Melbourne continuing to press hard. Jones wide. Now Davies a good man to have the ball in hand. Does he go inside? He does to Warnock. Important kick this one, and not a good one. It's a pity that Warnock didn't handball to Davey, because you reckon with his foot skills something might have happened.
Warnock really should have just gone to protect Davey and made sure that Davey held onto the ball.
So Bateman gets it from Mitchell, and now Hawthorn trying to set up. Bateman decides to go long. Young and Osborne the targets. Green at the back. Green with a chance to set up here. Melbourne with a chance to run. Bruce uses bait. Back to Bruce. It might work out okay. They're working in close quarters over the top. Morton. No, Hawthorn pick him off. Gillam to Bateman. And now they've got a chance. Here's Kennedy in his first match.
On the outer side, wing goes down towards right half forward. Overkicked the target though. Green coming on the angle, close to the boundary, played it pretty well. It spills out of bounds, and Cameron Bruce is having one of those days. Every time he handles the football, it doesn't end well for Melbourne. He's sold Bateman to trouble there.
They've got to carry the ball a lot further, Hawthorn, when they go forward, because there are 2 spare players across half-back for Melbourne that they're actually just kicking the ball directly to. They've got to carry that line.
Mitchell off the pack. Taylor on the assist. Brown spots him out towards the middle. Ellis lays it off. Running through midfield there was the young man Kennedy. Dragged down though, affected the kick. Davey in the opposite direction. Wanamiri. McLean kicks towards half forward. Awkward one for Murphy. Runs for Bruce. That's better. Gives it across to Jamar. Well, he didn't hit the target. Brown in the opposite direction. Some confusion. Brown there with Murphy. Standing up for the tackle was Sewell. Gillam's got it now. Put down. Great pressure from Melbourne, but eventually Murphy having to stretch was Ellis. Gets a hand pass across to Bateman. Bateman towards midfield. Well, Hawthorn missing their targets like never before this season, I'd suggest. Coming through was Green. Well played. McLean has been very good. Buckley's got it. Now hit a target, young man. He does. Miller has it.
Green's been terrific the last couple of minutes across half-back.
And then Miller, Dennis, hits his target as well. Gee, was breathtaking stuff, wasn't it?
It was, but again, Hawthorn just can't penetrate that half-back line of Melbourne's at the moment. They're not getting enough run and they're not getting enough carry to actually get the ball over that line. Buddy Franklin's deep in their forward line and Roughhead's been down there as well, but they just can't get the ball there to them.
So Robbo kicked 2 in the opening term. Could this be 399? Not going to come back, so 2-2. Don't reckon. Down to you, Rick.
Just a bit more on Ben Holland. He's actually gone down the race to the medical room with the physio for more treatment. It's a real concern because he's had shoulder problems in the past. Melbourne have moved J Mart as that key position forward, and Paul Johnson will do the ruck work.
So that's a big blow. No White today, and they've used Holland to make a contest up forward. So that'll be the real challenge now for J-Mar. Miller and Bateman. Bateman's had a terrific quarter. Kept his feet, did well. Taylor back inside, Saul, and now Bateman again running hard. Bartram gets to him a little bit late. Gee, Green made the contest, comes back to Mitchell. His skills are usually pretty good. Inside the 50, Williams dropped it away. Davey, brilliant. Oh, look at the pickup and then the run and the dash. Miller and Bateman. Well done by Jew, who got it to Murphy, and then Murphy to Campbell to Ellis.
I don't know what he said to them, David Needs, but he said something. Jew towards full forward. Well, just jumping obliviously into a pack there is Williams. He's done that a few times. Not sure what he's doing, but he's not helping.
Bartram's on here.
Bates got it from Morton towards half forward. Sliding in down there is J-Mar. Ball squeezed out. Brown brilliantly done. Full-chested around the outer side. Brown upended as he kicks. This ball will bounce at half forward. Chopped off by Johnson. Johnson, the short one. And just for the moment, against all the odds, Melbourne calling the shots. Maloney in short, and Bates, third in the best and fairest last season. Very important young player. He plays with a lot of maturity. Good kick too, virtually into the hands of Jamar. Jamar short of half forward. Plenty of Hawks back. Rousing applause for Green as he comes off the ground. And the crowd very much into this one. Short pass. Morton juggles the mark.
Back here! Come here! Play on!
The two Mortons involved there.
They can't
the brothers, one against the other.
Sorry, Dennis, he couldn't have gone long there because all the Hawthorn players have drifted back inside the defensive 50 and there was nobody there of any height for Melbourne. This is a gift, this, because this was the only way that actually are going to carry the ball inside their 50.
So Johnson, there's Valenti high-fiving. And Johnson finds himself directly in front.
It's a real ask now for Johnson and also Jamar because they're going to have to stay on the ground most of the time. So they are ruckman, they play in tandem, but they're not going to get much of a relief this afternoon with Holland now off the ground.
4 career goals for this young man. Drafted initially by the West Coast Eagles. Important kick, and he comes. Oh, gee, the goal umpire goes a long way. Never in doubt. Joe Cool Johnson.
Well, the last 10 minutes of football has been really interesting stuff because neither side's really been able to penetrate the opposition's defence. It's been counter-attack football, but nobody's really been able to push deep inside and actually create a scoring opportunity. And that was all created because of a 50-metre penalty. There was nobody inside the attacking 50 then with any height whatsoever for the Demons, and they were going to have to continue to kick the ball outside the arc. In the end, the umpire did the job for them, and they got inside. That's a good goal.
So Johnson gets the goal. Clearances, you can see Melbourne doing so well here. Green's come back for the D's. Bateman takes a spell. Jamar went early. Got the late call up. He wasn't even an emergency this morning. Bartram look away to McDonald. To centre wing. Jew had to search for it a bit. Morton with him. Jew gets back. Little gift to Brown. Was in close. Free kick to Jew, I think. You can hear the umpire, the advantage given them now. Morton's got it.
The area that Melbourne are doing really well in is around the stoppages. Their midfield is actually doing better than breaking even with Hawthorn's. Mitchell, who has had just 6 possessions to this stage of the game and just the 1 clearance, so they've been able to nullify his influence.
And he's been averaging around 29-30, hasn't he?
That's right. The last 3 weeks he's had 31 touches and he's been averaging 7 clearances.
Of course, no Hodge there as well. He's got the hammy. As Ellis comes through the centre and then goes to full forward to Franklin with a couple to beat. Well done, Warnock having a good day. Maloney had to try and break the Osborne tackle, couldn't quite. Melbourne just seem to have numbers, don't they? And then Bate, who's just had a terrific match.
He's got to come out this side. This is where they got the numbers. Just think his way through it. They've got Davey, then they've got McLean lining up on the wing.
And that's where they're going, Tim. So Davey to McLean. Frawley was with him. Jones.
Now, these are all midfield players who are getting free at the moment, so Hawthorn just aren't working hard enough when they lose control of the footy.
So Jones to McLean. Ricky, what do you got for us, mate?
I actually just had a chat to Ben Holly in the medical room. He actually had a bit of a laugh with me because last time I saw him play, he actually dislocated his shoulder. He just told me it's actually his good shoulder, not the bad one from last year. It's a very slight AC, and he said he's going to come back on. He's going to get a goal for the boys.
Good stuff, Rick. So Jones from centre wing, a bit of an up and under. This is where Holland probably would have been if he'd been out there contesting that mark. Maloney.
Bruce, you made a good point before about the fact that Hodge is out of this side as well. Lewis has gone out today, so there's 2 of their best 5 midfielders that aren't playing out there today. It's a real chance for Melbourne.
Boundary throw in. Well worked by Kennedy. Fed it back to Ellis, to Mitchell. Kennedy runs on, likely looking tight, but the hand pass not so good. Morton standing his ground. Now a chance for the D's. Bartram, will he get a free kick or will advantage be paid? It's coming back to Bartram alongside the centre circles.
Down there. Melbourne. Well after he got rid of it, mate. Well after he got rid of it. Thanks, Brown, when you get it, thanks.
He always looks so innocent, doesn't he, Sam Mitchell?
He does. Josh Kennedy playing this afternoon. He is finding out the difference between VFL football and AFL football.
Rioli. Now, here's a chance as they move it forward. Morton gave it across to Roughhead. It was Ellis, actually. Swings it towards Clark. 52 metre. Bacon square. It runs on. Hit the post. Hey, this might be Melbourne's day. Clark working hard. Doesn't get to Green in time. And Green has taken the mark in the back pocket.
That was a great kick then by Roughhead too, to see Clark out the corner of his eye. They had the numbers back there. Melbourne, they'd played the paddock, the Hawks, they'd all pushed up the ground. There was nobody inside their 50. And they've been able to blunt the influence of Buddy Franklin this afternoon by the way they've played. They've had numbers pushing back, so he hasn't been able to get any space whatsoever to operate in.
He hasn't probably been to a lot of contests already, has he?
Well, he's playing deep at the moment. Garland's still picking him up, but they've really helped Garland out this afternoon, the Melbourne defence and their other players, their preparedness to actually get back and contest.
Here's Young getting it from Ladson after Saul got the free kick. Long ball, Roughhead getting back, 3 to beat. Melbourne still with some good numbers, Warnock. And then the little pokey kick from Garland is a good one. Morton at half back. Miller the target, worried out of it a bit. Oh, and Brown getting the Jamar, free kick to Miller. He's a combative soul, Brown, isn't he?
You called it right, though, Bruce, about the Melbourne players getting back then to defend. 3 of them went to the contest, and they still had another couple of players at ground level.
So Johnson now the target from Miller. Jim McLean's had a wonderful first half, just banging it forward. Well done by Robbo, then comes back. It was a bit too cute. Taylor fends off Morton, and now they can set up. And speaking of Morton,
he's away. Morton through midfield to half forward. Roughhead made it difficult for himself. Was down very early. Great run by Jared Morton. And now the short one to Rioli. He's 40 metres out, Rioli.
And that's what a good side can do. They can actually make you pay for a turnover. Robbo was just a little bit extravagant with that kick.
There's Dean Bailey in casual club colours. Usually after 5 o'clock on game day, he gets into full camouflage. Maybe today could be different. Here's Rioli. Steps inside the 50. Interesting kicking style. It's offline. Didn't follow through at all. He really checked his kick with a bent knee. Didn't look very good.
It's like a high 9-iron, wasn't it?
Yep. Mind you, I couldn't get a 9-iron to go that far, but sort of.
So can Melbourne hold their nerve here in the last couple of minutes of the opening half?
It's a good kick.
I tell you what, their last 2 halves at the MCG have been pretty good. Fremantle 2 weeks ago, Hawthorn today. Yep. Put those together and you've got a good match, haven't you? Frawley at half back.
Stay there, Chance. Stay there.
That's the hard part, though, when you're a young team and you're on the improve, but it's about being able to sustain that performance for 4 quarters.
Taylor a bit easy. Murphy, Saul, Birchall running hard, teasing them a bit, and then goes inside to Roughhead. Just directing a bit of traffic. He's been accurate with his set shots, Roughhead. Close to 70% this year. 28 goals for the season, including the one today. And that one, he never really gave a chance. So we've seen Clark, we've seen 3 consecutive points. Clark, Rioli, Roughhead. That was the toughest of them, but as Dennis said, when Clark hit the post, you just never know.
And I think that also indicates the sting's just gone out of Melbourne's play a little bit in this last 5 minutes. They just haven't been able to apply the same pressure and intensity to the contest around the ground.
Green at half back. Gee, that is close, and I think...
Wait on, it's out on the full. It's out on the full. Play on your inside and play.
So they're just being a bit careful, I reckon, Tim. They should be playing instinctively as they have throughout the day. And then Roughhead takes a beauty and makes them hurt.
He was going to mark that all day long, wasn't he? As soon as the ball left the boot, you could just see the big fella setting himself for the mark. There was nobody in the right position. But this kick should never have gone there. They actually needed to sort themselves out better in their back half. They had numbers back there just to share the ball.
feel like they must play attacking instinctive footy.
Yeah, they're just waiting for half-time to come.
So Roughhead to close the gap. Gee whiz. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's a let-off. That is a let-off.
They're just not switched on, are they, at the moment?
There was a casualness about that, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, their last 2 shots at goal, Rioli as well. It's a very casual kick, like you're in the park on a Sunday afternoon.
Stay there, Joe.
As distinct from this hallowed turf.
Stay there, mate. Don't
Bell's
go
got the
forward.
footy. The margin is 9 points. And I suppose at half-time, Melbourne will have reason to feel very proud of themselves, but hopefully not too proud or too happy. A lot remains in this game.
1 metre back, please. 1 metre.
Third quarter should be very interesting. No doubt Alistair Clarkson will have a bit to say. And Hawthorn, simply because they're a proud team now, undefeated coming in, they will be looking for that third quarter and looking for Melbourne to redress the balance. Half-time at the MCG on Sunday football. Who would have thought this possible? Geelong loses on Friday night, and now Hawthorn in trouble at the G. 6-4-40 to 4-7-31. This is Sunday football.
Feeling the chill? For the next 30 seconds, we guarantee you won't, because Harvey Norman's going to warm you through with a whole host of heating options in store now. From budget options perfect for toasty toes through to glowing centerpieces for a blissfully warm home. Big brands utilising the latest technology and a little old-fashioned comfort. All at surprisingly affordable prices. Now, isn't that a cosy thought? Just make sure you banish the big chill now with the help of the heating specialists, Harvey Norman.
Before Brian here got his cab licence, he literally had to memorise every lane and back alley of Greater London.
I'll go down Old Gold Street.
It's called the knowledge, and without it, you'd be lost. Rather like Macquarie Private Wealth's one-to-one financial advice, giving you access to research knowledge rated #1 by Australia's leading fund managers. Have a chat then with Macquarie Private Wealth, because wherever you're going, they'll point you in the right direction.
This week I want to look at what happens with that right arm at impact and after impact. You would have noticed last week at impact that the right arm was a little bit bent and there was a little bit of angle in the right wrist. As that follows through, that right arm straightens and the shaft basically form one line post-impact. Now a drill to help you do that is simply loading the club over your right shoulder. Fold it so it's quite narrow in terms of radius, that is the distance your club is away from you. And on the downswing, that's going to unload when you turn your body. So once I'm over the ball, load up over the right shoulder, turn my body a little, and then back down to hit the shot. So I'm unloading my arm down and turning my body at the same time. Now what that really looks like is when I come short of impact or before impact, my arm is really quite bent and there's a lot of angle in here. As that is unloading, it's unloading down to the ground. You'll notice in the direction you're looking now, the club head as it's coming down that way is actually going towards the target. My body picks that up and helps it go through impact and past impact to fairly straight. Now looking at a full golf swing, and I like to look at golf swings that way because I think that's the best way to analyse them rather than trying to hold positions. So a full golf swing where the arm's unloading. Now in slow motion, when I come up just before impact, you'll notice there's a lot of bend in the right elbow and a lot of angle in the right wrist. At impact, that shaft is almost vertical now. There's a little bit of angle in my right wrist and not much bend of the right arm. Looking after impact, you'll notice that the right arm has straightened and the right wrist has gone flat and the shaft basically is an extension of that right arm. And you'll see that arm and that club now pull the right shoulder round and keep the upper body fairly vertical with the ground to a finished position. So it's pulling you through to the finish. If you have any trouble with your golf swing, go and see your local PGA professional. I know they can help you.
Do you have a red card? There's a red card, Billy, and I think you might be eligible next week.
The Back Page, live Tuesday, 7 p.m.
I am Richard. I'm Jonathan Brown.
I am Sean Higgins.
I'm Gary Ablett Sr. I'm Gary Ablett Jr.
I am the great Ron Barassi.
I'm the Wiz. I am Nick Rewards Curry.
I'm Daniel Kerr's Blistering Speed.
With 4 live games every round, replays and classic matches, you can see all your AFL heroes in one place this season. Fox Sports AFL.
Yeah, just to remind viewers at home, Hawks have got out Crawford, Lewis, Hodge, Guerra and McGlynn, all heart-the-ball players. And what Melbourne are doing, they're putting a lot of time into Sam Mitchell and Brad Sewell. They're both very good clearance players, top 5 in the AFL. Jones going to persist on him on Mitchell. Now, Sewell has been tagged by Maloney. Still get into the game and then had to move Sewell onto McLean. So if Melbourne can shut those two players down, they're a big chance to win this game.
Rick down on the boundary, overcast conditions, no threat of rain, and the lights are on.
Dennis, Ben Holland back out there on the ground, so he's probably been given one of those magic jabs in the shoulder. Good point there by Ricky to make too about the midfield and the number of quality players they've got out Hawthorn today. 18-10 is the clearance tally at half-time, so Melbourne are clearly on top in an area that Hawthorn pride themselves in.
Third term of the MCG, Sunday afternoon football. Maloney's got the ball immediately tied up, so the margin 9 points. A little eerie. David Neitz, number 9, spoke to them before they ran out today through the banner. It's a good thing unless we're talking German, I guess.
Knock it out.
Another bounce.
Again, guys. Thanks,
That's
Mike.
Kennedy.
Tackle straight away.
He and Morton have been pretty good so far. Not the greatest bounce. Campbell goes after it. Slams it over the shoulder. Davey, like lightning, generally has used the ball well. Got into trouble that time. Bell, Buckley. Like this youngster, there's something about him. Not his kicking necessarily. Bartram hit hard and the ball goes out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Birchall was the man who came up and laid the hit.
That bit's okay. He got back inside, but then they weren't able to clear the space then. I reckon now Clarkson half-time would have demanded from his players a greater attack on the ball in this second half.
Young hurled up. Now, Young's been quiet, hasn't he?
Well, he's just had 7 possessions in the first half. They rely on him being able to get free and win a lot of ball, get on the end of a lot of ball. He's a real high receiving type player, but he's a good ball carrier.
Hawthorn will be physical here, there's no doubt about that.
Right there.
Jamar going forward, overrun by Young. Maloney did well not to give a free kick away, and then Bateman tucks it under his arm and charges away with a second bounce. Inside to Kennedy, back to Saul, and then to Ladson, who's a left footer. He hasn't been able to get around though, he slipped over. Ball still, but he won. Ellis held up by Jones. That's a big win for Melbourne.
That is a big win for Melbourne because Hawthorn looked away. They were breaking off half-back with Bateman. He looked up, he had nowhere to go. All the forwards were covered. Great play by the D's.
Knock it out.
So these clearances where Melbourne are dominating in the first half.
I love the stage of the game this match is at the moment because it is a wrestle for momentum, and Melbourne have answered the challenge in this first couple of minutes.
Bounce alongside the centre circles then, and a good one. No, Ruckman touched the ball, charging through McLean. 20 possessions to date, lost at that time. Kennedy looking to back out of the pack. Maloney's got him.
Two players got it there.
And I think both clubs realising what's involved here. If Melbourne can make the first move, an upset could be brewing. Campbell to Mitchell, falling to the ground, was pushed in the back. He'll get the free kick. It'll come back to Sam Mitchell.
And Melbourne were playing a free player across half back in the first half. At the moment, it's just one-on-one contest. So Franklin is one-on-one with Garland. Garland has no player free across in front of Franklin, so he's going to have his work cut out. They can actually break the ball into the forward line quickly, Hawthorn.
Mitchell averaging 29 possessions a game this season, high of 39 against Collingwood, low of 16 against North Melbourne. Goes very short. Neither side so far in this term inside their forward 50. Birchall across the ground, over the head of Holland. Rioli arrives. McDonald is there step for step. Grabbed him too early. Just a touch, but it was enough. Watch it again. Takes him there. Realising that Rioli is very slippery and could have got away. 70 metres out, goes looking for Franklin. Hands to it, couldn't hang on. Garland's been terrific. He's had some help. Buckley to Bell. Goes across the ground, well-weighted kick. Miller's got it now. Buckley runs on. That's good hard running, young fellow. Closing though, the kick not good. Campbell came and picked it off. 70 metres out. His kick not great either. Into space, almost a collision down there. Franklin and Ladson. They go in solidly. Grabbed by Garland. Kicks it out for Melbourne. Only as far as Ladson, or rather, this is Birchall. Birchall to Mitchell.
And then Mitchell goes wide to the 50. Mark Williams has had a quiet one so far. That's his first mark today.
He could kick this, Bruce.
And then he pops it to the top of the square, and Roughhead was a target, and J-Mark concedes. Down to you, Rick.
The Hawks interchange only got 3 players on it. I just worked out who the player is missing. It's Stuart Dew. He's still down the rooms, and let's hope it's not a recurrence of that hamstring injury. He missed 5 games early in the season. I'm going to try and find out off the Hawthorn medical staff.
So the Hawks already coming in a bit undermanned, as Rick told us after half-time, and now maybe playing one short in the second half. Miller getting close to the line. Bartram. The pressure on Melbourne's foot skills will be interesting in the second half. Can they hold their nerve? Because right now they're so far into this game, it's not funny. They've got a real chance. Birchall got it from Campbell. That's a good kick to Bateman, who's been terrific. And then Bateman with a little one into the centre. Mitchell, it wasn't a great kick by Bateman. Now here's a real chance for Melbourne. Bruce went hard at Kennedy, who did very well. Mitchell's handball into a contest. We've had a lot of those so far. Bartram, was he taken high? He was taken.
No chance.
Oh, this is great stuff. Melbourne still have a thirst for the contest. Bruce ran hard at the player, but unfortunately the other Melbourne players didn't read what he had on his mind, and they went past the contest.
Rucks go at it, reaching over the top. It's one down by J-Mar, stolen away by Maloney. Kicks inside the forward 50. Battle of strength down there, and Crode won it against Robertson. Goes back across the ground as Hawthorn try and work something. Down by 8 points. Ellis goes further afield. Brown's turn to run. Has had one bounce. Some indecision. Seen a bit of that today. Goes back to Ellis. Ellis the chip around the boundary. Young's got it now. In front of the Great Southern Stand. Goes down towards half forward. Good running by Bateman. Lovely kick too. Had to be precise. No margin for error towards the 50. Franklin. He's marked just outside the 50. And this is not beyond him. It fits his kick. Generally, over the last 15 metres or so of its trip, it comes back against what most left footers do and goes right to left. Having said that, watch this. Franklin on its way. Will blow me down.
Well, Dennis is just taking a bow after that. I'm not sure which was better, your call or the kick, Dennis. It's a wonderful talent, isn't it? I mean, if you can kick goals from outside the 50-metre arc on an angle like that, I mean, it just enhances your actual hunting ground as a forward. I mean, most forwards need to be within about 40 metres of goal to be able to make the distance. That's an extraordinary kick.
It was his first kick in 43 minutes. It was a good one. Ricky, what's happening with Stewie Dew?
Yeah, it's bad news for Stuart Dew. He just walked past me looking very dejected. He has re-injured the hamstring he did early in the year, so he is gone for the game.
That is bad luck. Hawks took a big gamble in selecting him in the draft, and he had repaid them so far. Bateman got it from Saul, as now Hawthorn start to press hard.
Go through. Dangerous on that last passage of play too. Mitchell.
Thanks, Timmy.
Over to Lewis. Over to Sewell. Over to Bateman. To Franklin.
4 big names, eh? If we call them a lot in the second half, Tim Hawthorn will win. Here's Bateman again. Rough head. Got it.
Bateman's lifted his work rate. 18 touches now. He's been busy getting the ball. He must have a massive tank, this fellow.
He's had 5 disposals in the first 8 minutes of this third quarter. Now, Roughhead kicked badly late in the first half. For what we've seen in the last couple of minutes, he'll goal here, and Hawthorn will be in front. No, not going the right way for him.
Melbourne kept these forwards out of the game, Franklin and also Roughead, in the first half, because they were able to block the supply and they were able to pressure Hawthorn up the field. If they relax in that area, then these forwards are really going to come into the game.
He's missed his last 3 set shots at goal, has Roughead.
This is McDonald in the back pocket then. James McDonald, the last of the McDonald brothers. They've outlasted the Doobies. They had a McDonald too on the outer side. Pitches on its head and goes to Jones. Lucky bounce for Melbourne. Across to Morton. Kicks inside the forward 50. Missed down there. Crow had it bounce off his chest or a bit lower. Bates gives a hand pass across to Wanamiri, who snips a goal.
He got it in the end, but it should have gone to him first. Morton actually missed him out of the corner of his eye. He kicked the ball to the contest. There was the book. There's Wanamiri. You see him in the picture here. Here's Crow missing the ball. Here's Murphy, though, who actually just ducked his head. He should have kept his head over the ball, coughed it up. And that's where these little players are so dangerous around a bobbling ball in the forward line. Here it is. There's Murphy again. Had to bury his head in that ball and take the ball with him.
Well, he's made such a huge impact, hasn't he, Wanamiri? A second goal today.
Down, Brad.
And since their previous goal, Melbourne, Hawthorn's been inside 50, 11-2. Make that 12-2. Saul getting an influence, and now Rioli. So some Indigenous talent at both ends of the ground within a minute. Young talent.
Well, we saw they had that. We saw them have that lap top out. There's the tap. It's a beautiful tap to Sewell. One would suspect that they spent a bit of time, the midfielders, in with their stoppage coach at half-time, just working out where they were going wrong in the first half, because Melbourne dominated.
He had half a dozen clearances in the fight back against Port Adelaide, Saul. And he's leading the fight back today. Rioli, that's a better looking kick. He missed one in the second. And Hawthorn coming back hard.
It is Indigenous round. We're Wanamiri kicking a goal at one end, and here's the break from the centre. That is very hard to stop. He's got a good pair of hands, Rioli. He's a terrific kick. He's got good hands. He's got good awareness, and he applies enormous pressure too to the opposition players, and that's what he's in the side for, not just to kick goals, but also that of pressure and running down players from behind. He's had a wonderful first year in AFL footy.
A couple of classy goals, making this one just a point the difference now. Melbourne 7-4, Hawthorn 6-9. Just get the feeling you've seen the movie. It's like watching Casablanca. Everybody thinks they know what's coming, and that's Hawthorn to run over the top, but just maybe there's a sting in the tail.
Stay there, back a metre, Xavier.
Here's Valenti.
That's it.
Across the ground. Jones.
Stay there, where you are.
Bate comes hard, short one there to Buckley, not Bogart. Buckley goes inside the forward 50. Holland, well done. Playing on courage. Re-injured that shoulder earlier. Wants to be out there for David Neitz. Look at the strapping.
Told Ricky that he'd get back on the ground and kick a goal, remember?
He did. You've got to keep your word to Rick. Then he comes. And he's done it. That's Rick's place.
Well, the centre clearances are so critical in modern day football, and Melbourne getting that break then after a free kick. They had plenty of numbers out wide to use. Jones was the first recipient, and then he went over to Buckley, and then Buckley got the ball on the space that they had created for Holland in the forward pocket. And Holland is a target for them to go to, and he can't be discounted. I mean, he has shown in the past that he's got the ability to kick goals.
That's a gutsy effort by Holland. I mean, he did the good shoulder, he told Rick, and back he's gone. He's kicked 2 for the day.
He won't feel that shoulder until tomorrow, Bruce, until the painkiller wears off.
So back to 7 points. Johnson goes early. Maloney.
That's better from Johnson, getting his hand to the ball first.
Going nowhere, guys.
Taylor's been good in there in the second half.
That's Valenti in there. He had a heap of tackles in his first AFL match last week.
Hawthorn. Falling to ground, but you pulled him with you. He couldn't contest the ball.
So
right
against J-Mar, Here's Mark Williams trying to get involved. Only a handful of possession so far. Kicks to Campbell. Well done, Warnock. Campbell buttering up. 4 Melbourne players around him. G. Campbell did well. Good tackle on Clark.
That was a great tackle there by Green.
Timmy now! Give it up! Timmy! Up, everyone. Let's go.
Settle down, boys, eh?
The reason he affected that tackle, though, Green, was he actually kept his body low.
And the other thing, Tim, there were numbers again. Melbourne getting numbers into contests. Buckley, I'm with you, Dennis. There's something about Buckley, isn't there?
Yep.
He gets to a lot of contests. He's a good athlete. He's always a bit shaky on the kick. Bruce, Valenti.
They're out.
McLean. And then McLean's wobbly old kick to centre wing. Johnson had to cough it up, unfortunately, for Melbourne. Birchall got it from Taylor, and now he has a bit of time.
Birchall's been good, hugs the boundary with a kick. It was precise. Kennedy's got it. Goes down towards half forward, into the path of a couple of runners, but Davey comes across on the angle, knocks it towards the boundary line and beat 2 of them. In turn, Murphy and Ellis with a boundary throw in. They're playing inspired football. Melbourne this afternoon, honouring their retired former captain. Tossed in, off hands. Bruce needs to use it, does this time. McDonald went back to McLean, across the ground to Bate. Look at McDonald run, he's taken off. Should be rewarded, is. Now the man came to him, Holland rather, needed to stay back. He's got it now. It worked out okay. Maloney, 70 metres from goal, on the lead. Robertson knocked away by Crow. Kempt in front, Sam Mitchell. And Hawthorn now, a chance to bring it out. Sewell back to Mitchell. Morton, now Brown. Deep in his own defensive area to Murphy.
Goes down the line to Taylor. And then Taylor goes back inside the heart of the centre square. So Williams up the ground for the moment. Uses the run. Morton's kick inside the 50. Warnock got a good fist away. Davey attacks it hard. Roughead hard. Rioli hard. It's just one of those games.
That's a great contest again. And Melbourne are prepared to go as hard as Hawthorn. I mean, they've lifted their work rate, Hawthorn, but Melbourne are going with them at the moment. And Williams just pushing further up the ground. He's been quiet in the first half. He gets the ball up in the midfield, though. His kicking is dangerous.
Here's Jones. They work it out again. Davey's been terrific. McDonald squares it. Holland needs to get it here. Bearing down is Ladson. Holland goes to ground. That's a good result for the D's. Ben Holland, a warrior. There's another one. Chance Bateman. He'll be back in the action soon enough. Boundary throw in. Right half forward for the Hawks. Jamar late to arrive, but won it to good effect. Davey. Maloney in trouble, could have been holding it. Sewell looked at the umpire, thinking maybe there was a free. Goes down towards full forward. Franklin in the contest, off hands. In trouble, Bruce. Garland lays it off to Green. Green just kicks it the distance out of defence. Missed there by Mitchell. Lucky break for Melbourne. Bate goes to Maloney. In fact, it's Valenti. He slipped over. Here's Maloney. Bypassed initially. Back to Valenti. Kicks across the ground now. Drifting back, Robertson. Men on, one of whom is Buckley. Bruce needs to make himself available. Buckley used him as a decoy, not sure about that. Robbo gets through though, 70 metres out. Holland lurking behind. Holland has marked 20 metres out. Well worked by Melbourne. Buckley deciding, no, we're going through the corridor. Blow the outside extremities. Holland should kick it. The margin is 13 points. D's on top.
Initially, when Melbourne had the ball in the centre of the ground, they weren't actually able to get the ball over Gillum, who was just sitting back across half-back, so they had to change direction. They went out wide. It wasn't pretty, but in the end, when they got back on the other side of the ground, there was just some loose marking by the Hawthorn defence. Just 3 kicks for Holland this afternoon and 3 goals, so he's more than paying his way.
That's a great return from Holland. Down to you, Ricky.
I just don't think the Hawks are paying enough respect to some of their opponents. Ben Holland was standing on the wing for about 3 or 4 minutes unmarked. No one went near him, then he decided to drift forward. So I think the Hawks need to pay more attention to their opponents.
Jamar to Jones to Maloney. To Wanamiri. Not quite. Still with Wanamiri. Something normally happens when there's the footy. Oh, he's a good player, isn't he?
That was a beautiful kick the way he just squeezed that out and kicked it into the space.
Now, this would be asking a lot. Johnson's only kicked 5 goals in his career. 1 was from a 50-metre penalty today when he was right in front. The degree of difficulty here is a lot more. I reckon if he kicks this, it's Melbourne's day.
That's 20!
Well, he's taken it on himself to kick this because Jones made a good lead and he was going to open up the face of the goal by about 20 degrees.
Get a good look at it. Not going to be the goal. And it's going to just squeeze in from behind.
That was worth the punt, though. He kicks that and the place comes alive. I mean, it's alive enough now, but momentum would really swing Melbourne's way. Ellis on the outer side then. Coughs it up. Maloney. Pressure's a marvellous thing. We've seen it twice in the space of 3 days on this ground. Garland around the outer side, takes on a would-be tackler, drops it in short. Wanamiri stood his ground. Charging through is that Bell. Kicks and misses. Out of bounds on the full, hit the behind post.
They're clearly on top in general play at the moment, Melbourne, but the thing that they're not being able to do is actually kick goals and put some space between themselves and Hawthorn, so they're keeping Hawthorn in the game. They're really back on their heels at the moment, the Hawks.
Making so many mistakes, unforced. Ladson in the back pocket.
Sammy Mitchell coming from the ground. Sewell replacing him.
Tim, win or lose today with Hawthorn. What a revealing weekend it's been, starting Friday night with Geelong. Suddenly you feel like the gap's closed between top and bottom, don't you? Gillum's kick to centre wing. Green. He's been good, hasn't he? Not just because of that flying mark. He's put his body on the line today. So well, McLean running hard. Bruce McLean. Now this is where decision making so important. They're flirting a bit. Gee, well done, Morton. Bell ripped off it by Franklin. Turnover. Rioli to Buddy. Franklin goes long. Williams and Buckley. Well done, Buckley. It was a hard ball anyway for Williams.
The worrying sign for Hawthorn too is the fact that so many of the Melbourne players are getting free and they're finding space, and it just seems to me that Hawthorn don't want to go with them, or they can't go with them.
Campbell over the top, slaps it wide. Bateman falling to the ground. Ellis slips a hand pass away. Morton's got it now inside the centre square. Kicks inside the forward 50. Buckley deep in defence at the moment. Taken towards the line by Ladson. We'll have a boundary throw in.
That was good body play then by Buckley on Williams too. Just nudged him out underneath the ball.
14 points the difference. Jamar, who's been manful this afternoon. Roughhead, that's holding it surely. Davey ran into a dead end. Rioli emerges with it and snaps a goal. Oh, gee, that's a hurtful one. That's a knee buckler.
You just can't discount brilliance in this game. Davey, I believe, would have got away and got around just about any other player then, but Rioli just looked straight down at his core and said, okay, I'm going to tackle you. He did. Not only did he dispossess him, but then he had the presence of mind to pick the ball up and kick a goal, and they've needed that. They needed some brilliance here.
Jeez,
there's the turnover.
Roughhead with his disposal.
Very clever goal from Rioli. The tackle and then the finish. So Hawks get back within a kick and a bit. Centre square break so important. Melbourne have done well in the clearances all day. Sewell caught up.
They've got their guns back in there, Sammy Mitchell and Sewell.
Straight up, please.
Bateman's back on the ground.
At different stages, they need to rest those players, and that's when Melbourne actually get on top, when a couple of those guys are off the ground.
Campbell front spot. Mitchell running onto it and then kicking wide to Williams. Bell has had the job on him all day. Williams clever that time, and Bell made a mistake. Franklin running on hard, taking his man on. Still Buddy, is it? Had a bit of an airy for him. And then Johnson, who went down back a moment ago. McDonald, Maloney, stopping and propping. Back they come. Jones, Maloney. Important passage of play here. Melbourne with numbers. Bate has had a wonderful day. Can he break the tackle? The handball didn't quite get to where he wanted it. Ladson got it from Campbell. Now the Hawks to attack. Saul looks up, goes with a long one. Williams the target, got him. Great mark.
And there's a lesson for every defender then. Bell was in the wrong position, but what he actually had to do is he had to claim Williams early in the contest, because once he claimed him late and tried to get back late, here's we see Buddy just getting out of that tackle. He's enormously strong through the core. There it is. There's just the bump from Williams on Bell. And you would back him in from here. He's got one of the sweetest kicking actions in the competition.
Well, when he burst on the scene, Tim, it was his straight kicking that was his trademark, wasn't it? And there's another one, so they close it now, the Hawks.
Read in the paper this morning he lost his uncle during the week, and I think that may have been a sign to his family there after he kicked that goal, the celebration, just to kick to the kiss on his black armband and just raising his eyes to the heavens. But we all know how good a player he can be, Mark Williams, one-on-one. And that is just the sweetest kicking action.
The game in the balance reflected there. Jeff Kennett obviously a bit more to worry about. His side the fancied team, although I guess in the overall, Paul Gardner has more on his plate. Campbell's got the free kick back in the middle and just chips it out wide. Closing is Davey, and that hurt Ellis, and now 50. Well, he seemed to have the option of spoiling there, Davey, and for some reason elected not to. Watch this again. He's there. You would think, yeah, that's got to be 50. A swing with the fist may have been far better.
No, you don't have to make him earn it. If he marks it.
I don't think that's a good defence, is it?
No, they won't stand up in a court of law.
The umpire just telling him you've got the right to remain violent, but shut up. 2 points the difference. This for the lead. Ellis comes in, jabs at it, and gets it. Hooks in front. Whoops.
Well, it was clearly a 50-metre penalty. I mean, he can argue all he likes, Aaron Davey, but the penalty was there. And now this is the great challenge for Melbourne. And we saw in the second quarter, we see that action again. I mean, he may even be cited for that, Aaron Davey, as a charge later when the reviewers take a look at all the vision from the weekend. Melbourne got really tardy in the last 10 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the second quarter. This is a critical stage of the game now for them.
Plenty of feeling. First time Hawks in front since the first quarter. Ricky.
There's some real concerns on Russell Robinson. We know he's been carrying a cork thigh right through this game. He's just come off the ground again and gone down to the Raceton Medical Room to get some more treatment on that cork thigh.
Mitchell had it a long time. That is a hot football in that centre square right now.
Follow the guys. Straight up, please. Thanks. Good work in there. Good work.
You're right.
Thanks,
Mitchell had it a long time and just placed it on the deck when he was tackled.
Should have been a free kick. Clearance is now 21 Hawthorn, 24 Melbourne. So they're evening up, Hawks.
They've closed the gap, Tim. It was a gap of 9 at half-time, or 8. Morton back to Mitchell, to Bateman. Well, Bartram fell over, which was not a good move, and Bateman with a second bounce, and then a beautiful kick. He's a match winner, Bateman, in many ways, isn't he? I mean, his ability to carry the ball.
Well, he can break the lines, and as we see here, got a great turn of speed, burnt off Bartram, But this is the great bit of his play then, to be able to finish after a run like that. Great strong pair of hands. There is nothing that Garland did wrong then as a defender.
Will this be his 45th goal for the season? He's kicked 2, one remarkable goal. And that one timed it beautifully.
There's Mitchell again, who's become really big. That is, you just underestimate how fabulous that handball was then from Sam Mitchell. On his left hand, it was a long, sweeping, arcing handball, beautifully timed to the space in front of Bateman, who burnt off Bartram and then finished it off with a kick to Buddy. Now, Buddy on a bad day, on an ordinary day, on a quiet day, is probably going to kick 5 goals, so he's got his 3 already.
Rising superstar, no doubt, of the AFL. After 8 rounds last season, he'd kicked 25 goals en route to 73. Rucks go at it. Taylor decisively to Sewell. Melbourne have got to stop them here. Coming through midfield is Kennedy. Kicks inside the forward 50. Johnson approaches the footy, controls it, kicks out towards the wing. Needs to stay in for the D's. It does not.
Taylor to Sewell at the centre bounce has been outstanding in this 3rd quarter. They've got a wonderful understanding.
Not the first time number 23 attracts a crowd. Another famous number 23 too, won the goal kicking 3 times for Hawthorn. John Peck back in the 60s, 63, 64 and 65. So a bounce on the wing. Melbourne now down by 10 points. It's happened quickly. Taylor punches his side forward. Mitchell been a catalyst. Taken to ground, will have a bounce.
I think one of the great things about Sewell, Bruce, is the fact that in certain games he can play as a real shutdown type player, but when the need be, he actually becomes a very attacking midfielder. At the moment, McLean's as concerned about him as what he is about McLean. Here he goes again.
Well, Sewell, Mitchell and Bateman have had 13 clearances between them today, and you would have said Melbourne have done a good job on them so far. Not in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but
they've just shaken themselves free, haven't they?
Yep. Can the D's hang on here? Mitchell again getting it to a dangerous spot to Ladson, who kicked the opening goal of the match. Now Ladson's a long kick. He decides to go with a short pass. Not a great option, you would have thought, for Clark. Picked off by Green, but the Murphy's got hold of it, and it's good effort there by the D's in Green, just getting a hand on it before Clark could snare it.
This is just wonderful ruck work here. Just watch Taylor just tapping the ball to the favoured side there of Sam Mitchell, and they're away again from another stoppage.
Taylor and J-Mark. Taylor again wins the tap. Valenti and Kennedy.
They had some real fade-outs, Melbourne, in the latter parts of quarters. This is the 2nd quarter in a row. In the 2nd quarter, they didn't go inside 50 in the last 10 minutes, and they haven't been inside their attacking 50 in the last 10 minutes in this 3rd quarter either.
Sort of hanging on for grim death, aren't they, right now? Mitchell. So ping for holding the ball, but it counts for not much. Just letting them know Sammy is.
It's like a Pyrrhic victory, actually, if the siren goes and they don't get to get their kick.
Yep. So Hawthorn late.
Still 50, mate.
Still arguing the 50. Hawthorn by 10 points over Melbourne at 3/4 time. Top against bottom has been a terrific contest. As we go down to Ricky, as Alistair Clarkson coming off, has Russell Robertson got one last quarter in him, Rick?
Well, if you watch him actually coming off the ground now, you wouldn't think so. He spent the entire 3/4 time having treatment on that cork thigh. I saw him run out. He looked very, very sore. He had a chat to the medical staff. He's just coming to the bench now, and He is the X factor, but I just reckon he's unlikely to have any more impact on this game.
Tim, Hawthorn's the only team in the comp that has won every last quarter so far this year. What are you expecting in the last 30 minutes?
Well, I think Melbourne need to dull the influence of Sammy Mitchell and also Sewell, and they've got to stop Bateman as well. They've just got to stop his run around the ground. They've been starting the quarters well. It's just been the last 5 or 10 minutes where they haven't been able to go with the Hawks, and that's where they've got on top. So whether or not they've got a sustained quarter of football left in them, we're about to see.
Saw Sam Mitchell there, 11 possessions in that third term, a draft bargain, 36 in the 2001 draft. What a leader he is in all respects. Charging out of the middle, this is Kennedy, kicks inside the forward 50. Oh. Franklin's got it. And Alistair Clarkson probably has just turned around, having got to the box, thinking he's in Sharon heaven. How about that?
That's a wonderful kid, and that a great sight to see a young kid like that just streaming out of the centre of the MCG and then hitting his target.
Only his 8th kick. But he's a goal-kicking machine. Kicks from the 50. And he's pulled it behind. The distance, no problem. From 55, it goes through at about goalpost height.
It was a poor kick. And Rioli to chop it off, but he ran it out, unfortunately. So Bell missing the McDonald target.
For Melbourne, you'd think that Jones and McLean and Aaron Davey will need to get a lot of the ball in this last quarter for them to have any chance.
Roughhead, who did the ruck work, now doing the roving. Williams had a good third quarter. Had it for a long, long time. Then Bell just went without it. McDonald and Jamar went for the same footy. Then Warnock, Buckley, Bartram. Also Franklin, Buckley, McLean. Took a long time, and his kick, because of the Bateman tackle, I reckon, was pretty average. Gillum gets it back inside to Osborne.
Pushing it back here.
That's a good sign for Melbourne, because they've just got to stay in the contest here. They've got to make every loose ball a hard ball for the Hawks to get control of. Now Davey, undecided as he got the length on the kick he has to Bate. Had a very good game, Bate. Goes very wide to Bruce, who hasn't been all that certain, to Green. He just couldn't quite get the purchase, and the kick cut off by Campbell, who's been impressive.
Lays it off. This is Ladson out of defence. Kicks towards the wing in front of Young, coming across on the angle. McLean fends Young off, but in the process goes out of bounds.
They just have to show a bit more composure, Melbourne, when they get the ball outside 50. They just got to wait for the right option to present itself.
Jamar reaches over the top into the path of Jones. Well, Campbell kept coming, applied a strong tackle. Buckley to McDonald, gains about 15 metres, and Osborne quite content to see it go out of bounds. 11 points the margin. Hawks trailed for most of the day, took the lead approaching three-quarter time. Melbourne's turn to come back now. Can they do it? Down goes Maloney. He had it a long time. They've been pretty lenient today. Kennedy does well. Little 1-2 with Ellis. Now goes back to Birchall. Birchall at centre-half, back to Mitchell, back to Birchall. He runs hard through midfield. Pinpoint accuracy required. Missed by Roughhead. Sewell surely holding it. Apparently not.
So I like the look of Kennedy. He's going to be a player, isn't he, at AFL level? He just looks like he's got the right amount of nous. Skill level. We see Stewie Dew looking on. We believe that he's done his hamstring again.
Campbell kept his feet. Mitchell yet again. Good tackle though by Maloney. And here's Kennedy having a really good 5-10 minutes. A good match. McLean got pushed in the back. Can't quite get to McDonald. Bruce, well done, Rioli. Back to McDonald. But Melbourne making it a contest. Now Davey on. Little chip kick, rather Ron and Miri. Now this will be interesting. Inside, McDonald didn't use Davey, decides to go short. Bartram's handball. Jones leans back. They're still in it.
They're still in it because they're still prepared to work hard. They still believe that they can win this game. This was wonderful play here by Wanamiri. He just kept his cool, saw the right option, gave it off, but it was their ability actually further up the field to win that important contest when the ball was in dispute, and they were prepared to dive in there and then find a free player to get the flow in their play. Good finish by Jones.
Nathan Jones on the run. Their first goal in 18 minutes. 2 9s. Past the Ouija board. It's Erie. Knocked down by Jamar. McLean kicks it forward. Birchall coming on the angle. Not required. Well, he was required, but not involved. Bate comes away with the footy. Wanamiri trying to knock it to his own advantage. Was being held. He'll get the free kick.
Nice jumper, Campbell. Mark's here.
Interesting too. Things have changed a bit with the umpires. Players getting so much time to get rid of the ball. You could microwave a pizza in the time they're getting out there. Here's Wanamiri, just a little chip shot. Comes to Jones.
Dennis, the other thing that Melbourne are doing at the centre bounces too, they've changed their starting positions.
Centering kick. Davey got to the contest. Wanamiri got out of the contest. Back to Davey. Indigenous round.
Aussie the Mozzie, he is just a buzzing little influence in the forward line, isn't he? He only takes the ball once. He doesn't leave it behind. Here he goes. He just worried. That's the one up further because Campbell Brown was just worried about his pace. He just knew that he couldn't let him get away from him. But then watch this crumb. Just bang in the right spot, grabs the ball, spins around and finishes off to Aaron Davey. What a combination these two might be for the next 5 years.
So Davey kicks the goal, leaves the ground. They've got to get him back. And Russell Robertson comes out. So has Robbo got one last run at it. Saul from the centre. Might kick a goal here, Saul. No, decides to go to the front of the square. And Clark just chips into a vacant space and takes the mark.
Gee, they're good at creating that space out of the centre there. Saul just providing the run, kept his head. I think that's the most critical part when you run like that and you break from the centre. It's actually the finish part, and that was a good kick.
Well, he kicked a couple of goals doing that against Port Adelaide down in Tassie. That time he went the short way home, and Clark's awkward kicking style gets it home. The Hawks back in front.
You see so many players lose their head after a run like that from the centre. But still, here it is. Here's that space opening up on the Hawthorn side of the square. And that's the space they've been able to close down, Melbourne, the last couple of centre bounces. And they haven't been able to clear the ball with such efficiency, Hawthorn. These centre breaks become so critical in a game like this. You get the centre break, you get the opportunity to score. You go to a forward line that's open.
Still working on it, but really now very much in the hands of the players. They overloaded one side at the last bounce. This time they've got a man back. The second man gets the football going the wrong way initially. That's Jones. Here's Bateman. He's been a wonderful player. High ball beyond the wing. The bounce was stifled by Ladson. Bartram comes over the top. Ladson needs to be careful. Ball comes out. Kennedy goes out with the ball. As we said at the start, red in the purple, always destined to wear these colours, and he's been terrific, that young man. Throw it in. Johnson knocks it down. Clearing a path was Jones cleverly. Maloney took advantage of it. Goes towards half forward. Going back, Brown missed it. Wanamiri goes into the pack. Was stripped of the football. Bateman gave it to Gillam. He's less than convincing back there. Birchall to centre half back. The Hawks will move it up. Taylor to Ellis. Bit of a fumble. Oh, well done, Bate. Taylor tried to go back to Mitchell, who was involved earlier. Maloney to Bate. It needs a kick soon. Taken by Holland. Bartram back to Holland. Holland around the corner. These aren't their finesse men at the moment. Johnson goes across the boundary and we'll have a throw in. I suppose if Dean Bailey selected two people to represent Melbourne in a finesse contest, they would have been the last picked.
I think Jamar might have got in there as well, Dennis.
I think so.
Maloney kicks it back to the hot spot. Robertson's up there, fist away from Crode. searching for the footy. Bartram gave a shove on Bateman. Well done, Mitchell. And I think Bateman's free kick, isn't it?
That's a throw against Sam Mitchell.
Okay, so
umpire in perfect position then to adjudicate.
I think that was the umpire he was talking to before three-quarter time, was it not?
Well, I'm not sure that his fist didn't make contact with that ball off his hand.
Back to my original point.
So Valenti kicks right to the 10 metres, and Taylor following. Oh, gee, Bruce was chasing it down. I think it's a goal. It is a goal. Who, why, and how?
No idea.
You've heard of the accidental tourist. That's the accidental goal. Just have a look at this again.
Must be Bruce.
I actually thought the kick was too deep because he couldn't get the distance. I thought he may have been able to kick it to the top of the square. Went into the square. Here it is coming.
Unless it's just grazed his foot.
He must have just grazed. Let's see if we can get a better.
Yes, it did. Left foot. Grazed his left foot.
I'm not sure he even grazed his foot, Bruce. I reckon he grazed his shin.
Well, how about that? A man who hasn't had the best of days, Cameron Bruce, getting the drive-by goal, was standing in the square and the ball brushed his sock. Robbo sitting down. Melbourne, their fans need to sit down and take a deep breath. They're right in this, up to their ears. Here's Davey. Davey with pace. Advantage is paid. He's been electrifying this afternoon. Valenti, the youngster, down towards half forward. Good result for Melbourne. Bounces out of bounds. 77, plays 76.
Now, the general pattern of play has been that Melbourne make the charge early in the quarter and Hawthorn come home late. So let's see whether or not that continues here. They're going well at the moment, the Demons.
Taylor decisively.
Holding Brett Maloney, you held him.
Their stoppage count has gone up again, Melbourne, so they're 31-26. The Hawks had almost evened that at three-quarter time, so that's where they're getting back on top. They're getting first use of the ball, and they've been able to push Davey up there and get the ball in his hands critically too.
Mitchell got the free kick, his 28th possession. Brown's away. Maloney was holding Mitchell. You'd have to say after the last quarter and a bit, not bad policy. Good pressure from Melbourne, and as a result, the errant kick finishes up with Bate.
So Bate brings it back along the line. And Holland's done his job, hasn't he? First game for the season. It's kick three, provided contests early.
They're going to have to think their way through this, Melbourne.
Bate short to McLean.
That's okay. Hawthorn have got numbers back inside the defensive 50, so they can't go long and high.
Campbell, half a metre more.
Johnson's getting there now.
Play on.
So McLean, a long, hard kick to full forward. Can Miller get into the contest? Bartram and Johnson were there. Johnson out to Wanamiri. Wanamiri to Bruce. He's kicked one remarkable goal, and that one, well.
What about the vision and awareness, though, of Wanamiri?
Yep.
He just has the ability to know where everybody is. I mean, Bruce was right to his back then. There was a long sweeping handball.
You reckon if Wanamiri and Davey touch it another half a dozen times, Melbourne will win today?
They touch it inside their attacking 50, they're a real chance.
Here's Morton. Left half back, got it from Ellis. Game in the balance. Melbourne by a point. Murphy goes across the ground. Gillum has it now. Gillum hasn't been that convincing with the ball in his hands. Goes short. Ooh. Stretching Taylor. Goes to Bateman. Bateman gets a hand pass to Osborne. They're okay. The Hawks through Osborne, storming towards half forward. Morton. Ellis kicks inside the forward 50. Rioli! Rioli into an open goal. Wonderful.
These Indigenous boys are putting on a show, aren't they? We've got Wanamiri and Davey operating away into the ground, and we've got this fellow, Rioli. He had no right to take this. That is just sheer courage running into the pack. Kept his eye on the ball and just skirted past. Just watch it again. I mean, this is just fabulous play by a young player. He could have been taken out there by four Melbourne players.
There's kick three, and then this Indigenous round, Rioli, Wanamiri, Davey. Don't forget Franklin and Bateman out there today, and Williams.
Haven't they risen to the occasion?
What a great game of football we're seeing.
They've put on a spectacle.
5-point margin, Hawks back in front. They're the great finishers in the 08 season. Saul to Mitchell to Birchall. And then Birchall to you-know-who? Buddy. Couldn't quite hold it this time. Green first back. Ran it close to the line. Didn't keep it in. Rioli hooks it back. Right to the goal square. And then Melbourne gang tackle. Buddy, they're all over him.
Just take a look at Sewell's work here in the centre bounce. Bang, grab, and they're away again. He is an excellent player. And then over to Mitchell too, his partner in crime.
Buckley drives it around the outer side, crashing the pack from behind was Murphy. Did well, won it on the ground. Young slipped over. It's been that sort of day. As a result, Maloney got him. Bait to Maloney. Finds a way through. Kicks beyond the wing. Hangs a long time in the air. Wonderful mark. Campbell over Morton. They'll run it up the ground now. Mitchell got it from Gillum. Kicks inside the 50. Melbourne back in number. Gutsy. Bruce going back. Took the mark to Green, who's been splendid.
They're running here, Melbourne. They've got
Miller.
a 4-on-2 here.
Go for the long target. He does. Morton. The two runners should come to him now. Morton will get it free. They want the advantage, though.
Give it.
Bartram needs a shepherd. McLean offers. Bartram pulls it back. Oh! What did he see that we didn't? Sewell, the only man there. Bartram seemed a little confused that McLean gave him the shepherd, and that was always going to happen. Birchall has been a stellar defender.
Murphy providing some run. Gets a handle on it now. Back inboard to Morton in his first match. Jones ran him down. Murphy over the top. Campbell's been terrific. Mitchell, outstanding. Up and under kick, roughhead front spot, second, third grab, couldn't quite. Garland, very impressive. Miller. Still got a taste for it, Melbourne, haven't they?
Yeah, they're still running. Hawthorn are getting back in numbers across half-back. This is where they have to think their way through. The Demons, they've got to change the direction of the play.
Oh, McLean.
Bartram to Buckley. Now it's a slow kick. McLean the target. Warnock to use him. Now McLean, important ball this one. Finds bait, and he's a long kick bait. Wanamiri takes off now. It was Davey who he went for.
That was a dangerous kick across half-back, but it was the right kick, and they had the numbers at ground. They had to change direction of the ball. Hawthorn had built a wall of players down this side of the ground, and Davey had taken his man right back to the goal square, gave him plenty of room there to provide the long lead.
He's in Buddy's pocket, isn't he? Right where Buddy likes to kick them. He's kicked beautifully today, Davey. And that one just missing. Dennis, what price the draw?
Shortening by the minute, Bruce. We've reversed our roles. Here's Murphy to Osborne. Young Buckley's got a very slow kick. That was on for some time to McLean. Here's Clark around the outer side. Clark also has a slow kick. Big pack at the drop. Roughhead leapt for it. Hand pass comes to Franklin from Young. Snaps. Oh, it's gone at right angles and through for a behind. Remarkable. 6 points the difference. Crowd suck in their collective breath again. Here's Buckley. Another one of those kicks you can almost run along beside. Jones. Bruce. Melbourne. Keep on keeping on. Bell. McLean. Just the limp fall taken by Brown. And the umpire decides this time it's holding the ball.
Opening up in the centre here.
He said no effort. I think McLean was simply too tired. Ellis in the middle.
To Morton, quick kick on. Williams lines it up. Puts it home.
Here's a free kick. They actually had the numbers. They just didn't work their way through this clearly enough, Melbourne. There's definitely a free kick. McLean had the opportunity to get rid of the ball, and then the turnover, Hawthorn started to run. They already had moved into attacking spaces on the other side of the ground. And this bloke he is a wonderful finisher. Has there been a non-Indigenous player kick a goal in this last quarter?
Nathan Jones is the answer to your question, but been a wonderful exhibition. Williams with 2. He's had a good second half after a quiet first. Well, I wonder if David Neitz' words are still ringing in the Melbourne players' ears. Can they come one more time? They've been asked a lot of questions today. Hawthorn have put it on them. It's bottom against top. You wouldn't know it watching it. Maloney to Jones, who's kicked a couple of goals. Davey, the target, couldn't quite take the mark. In the pocket, kept it in. Maybe Campbell-Brown ran it out in the end. Boundary throw-in, but Melbourne attacking.
That's a good move by Dean Bally. He's resting Davey now deep as a forward. He's been pushing up the ground early in the quarter. He's got a little bit tired, so he's coming out of the goal square.
Thrown in. Knocked down by Taylor. His ruck work has been good. Into the path of Morton. Run down by Davey. Holding the ball. Or will it be pushing the back?
Pushing the back.
Morton to the pocket. And Osborne. And I think that was the right decision. But Davey had him dead to rights. Ladson shows a lot of it out there to Valenti. Knocks it to his own advantage. Could have almost got a free kick then, Valenti. And now may be penalised. Well, we'll have a bounce.
Here's the tackle again. Davey had him cold, got the tackle, and then just drove into his back.
Just the finishing move.
Oh, he just had to twist him a little bit. He's so tired, though.
That's right.
Gee, what a big part of the play, though. I mean, he gets the free kick 30 metres out. Melbourne was in a kick.
It just actually takes more effort, though, in a situation like that to actually twist your body. I mean, the tiredness there, he just drove into the back.
It was a first-game player who had the footy in his hands at the time. Bate winning the clearance. Usually uses the footy pretty well. That one to the pocket. And now the Demons have got to try and conjure something from another stoppage here in their left forward pocket. Again, you look for Davey, Tim, and Wanamiri to maybe provide something here.
Wanamiri's moved away from the contest. Davey's underneath it.
Holland doing the ruck work. Taylor got over the back. Osborne read it well. Bateman runs hard and then delivers on the left foot. Good kick to Ellis. Brown running. Not a great handball. Brown held his ground as he always does. Back to Ellis, back to Bateman. They've worked it okay. Bateman over the top. Plenty of run here from the Hawks. Ladson loads up out wide and finds Young. Takes a lot of marks, Young. Not so many today. Inside push. Yep.
Back turn there on full, please. There it is here.
So against Frawley, Williams, who could kick this, he's
still
right
he's in range here. Yeah. He's just got to go back and make sure that he gets enough swing through the ball.
This to make it really difficult. It's a beautiful kick. He's kicked 3 in the second half.
I don't know, Bruce, have you ever seen a more relaxed, beautiful, sweet swing through the ball than he possesses?
When you think about it, with Franklin and Williams and Roughhead when he's on song, they've got 3 guys that can kick goals from outside 50 consistently.
And that's what makes them so dangerous too, because as a defender, you do need to go with them right out near the arc there, because you know they're still dangerous. Definitely a free kick then. Frawley, unfortunately, just went into the back of Williams. Arm in the back.
He's fired up in the second half. Mark Williams, 3 goals. Made his debut against Melbourne, round 1, 2002. Got 8 goals against the D's, round 8, 2005. And 3 very important goals this afternoon. Maloney has tried hard. Battles after the football. Taylor again. This time hand passes to Mitchell. Generally, he's been knocking it down his throat. There's Rioli. Rioli takes on McDonald. I just hang on to him. Well, McDonald eventually wears him down. Well played, and McDonald will get a free kick.
Back here.
Sammy Mitchell has now just had the lazy 31 possessions, which is what he's been averaging the last 3 games.
Some tired players out there. Jamar dropped the mark. Getting back is Bateman. Dragged down by Bruce. Brown spinning out of one would-be tackle into the arms of Bell, and it's gone out of bounds alongside the interchange gates, and it seems that this one has flown. They're in pretty good company, but it doesn't guarantee very much.
Sam Mitchell's 31 possessions, though, most of them are in close. There are no cheapies there. Maybe there's half a dozen cheapies out of the 31. But he wins the ball in close, in tight, and then just spreads the ball for everybody. Here he goes again. He's a magnet.
Was it? You cannot pass it to him. You cannot. See, he's got your back here. Mark J.
He'll be right. Watch this. Yeah. Small handball.
So he's had a couple of interesting conversations today, Sammy Mitchell, with the umpires. Wonder if he'll get the 3 Brownlow votes. Bateman. He's been fantastic as well. Ladson
to chase here, Davey.
And now Franklin. And Davey still chasing. And now Rioli. Well done, McDonald. Just thinking a moment ago when McDonald harassed Rioli out of it. It's just typical the way McDonald plays his footy. Here's one and Mary free kick. No, okay. Thought he might have been brought down without the ball. Oh. Birchall squeezing it to Saul. And then Saul running hard through the centre, as he so often does, drawing a man. Bateman running onto it, still running hard from 50. Little chip pass. Williams gets it. Bateman has become a great footballer.
He is an elite midfielder, but the work by here, Sewell, here's the tackle here. That had to be a free kick to Wanamere. He didn't take possession of the ball. I mean, that is just an amazing oversight. Good finish there by Bateman, but what we didn't see was a run through the centre of the ground by Sewell. Just took the game on, and a beautifully weighted handball over the top to Bateman, put him in space.
Well, you'd back him 9 times out of 10, Williams, from this position. Just missed that one. That was the one that you wouldn't back him in. But he's done a lot in the second half, Williams. He went into the middle of the ground for a while and started to get hold of the footy. And Dennis, you mentioned it doesn't guarantee anything. Only 4 teams in the last 50 years have been 9 and zip. Hawthorn have never been 9 and zip. Only one of those 3 went on to win the flag previously.
It does mean you're playing good football at the start of the season, though, although today they've been challenged, and Melbourne will take more from this game than Hawthorn. Here's Buckley, indecisive, got the strength to get the arms free. Mitchell. Well, the umpires this afternoon, I don't know where they put us with holding the ball. That applies to both sides. Maloney holding the man holding the ball seems to be a different rule this afternoon for this trio of umpires. Down towards half forward, big pack off hands. This guy is an emerging star. Bates. Well, I fixed him. Bates has had 29 possessions this afternoon, 3rd in the best and fairest last season. He is really something. He uses the ball. He's not that quick, but gee, he's got a head on his shoulders. It's out of bounds to be thrown in just inside the 50. Jamar comes with the run. The boundary umpire is tired. That fell in short. Maloney gives a hand pass back. Sewell's got it now.
To Bateman, to Brown. Well, that was pressure, but well done by Ladson, I think it was. It was. Ball still in, and the Hawks get it almost outside the 50. Miller's had a quietish day. Looked promising early. Gillam's kick along the line. And out it goes. Good chase by Birchall. Birchall's 49th game today. He was in the same draft as Dale Thomas, who played his 50th on Friday night. They've played more games than anybody else in that 05 draft. Birchall and Thomas.
He's amazing, isn't he, Sammy Mitchell?
He is.
Everyone stop, back here. Sam Mitchell kick.
That's why they are a definite flag chance, though, Hawthorn, because if you look at the players they've got missing today, Hodge comes into that midfield, Lewis, and also Crawford. But they've still been able to get on top in there today. They've got 3 hard nuts out there today. Sammy Mitchell, Bateman's been a great player, and also Sewell.
Got a couple of good rucks too, I reckon. Tim Taylor and Campbell, who haven't missed a match between them for a year and a half. They're a pretty good combination.
Mitchell kicks down towards half forward. There's Roughhead paddling at goalward. Green's got him. They'll have a ball up.
I reckon they've got all bases covered, maybe except one, and that's down back. I reckon there may be one big key defender short. There's Jeff Kent. He's had an interesting week. He looks okay, though. Looks like he's weathered the storm all right.
Green, as has his team, but gee, Melbourne have been wonderful today. Birchall across the ground. Murphy just pops it to Brown. Brown inside the centre circle. Kicks wider still, Gillum. Gillum spots the lead of Williams, ignores that, comes back to Brown. And just sneaking up like a librarian behind him was Morton. Brown goes back, so effectively killing the clock. But Melbourne certainly didn't fail their retired captain today. The champ, David Neitz, has really seen these guys respond, and fitting that this fella's got the ball. If the siren sounds, he may get it back. Here's Crowd not happy. Crowd in the dying seconds to Ellis. Give it to Sam. Hawthorn win. They stay undefeated, but they were tested at times today. And a couple of the stars sharing congratulations. Davey was quite superb today. He played inspired football. Hawthorn 14-13-97. Austin Wanamiri. Melbourne 12-6-78. Cyril Rioli. The names roll off the tongue. And so today, their silky skills rolled around this MCG. The hallowed turf saw Hawthorn complete their streak to 9 straight. Let's go down to Sam Mitchell talking with Ricky Olorenshaw.
The team in Demons really took up the challenge today.
Yeah, they just came out. They were very aggressive, very tough, and it took us a little while to get accustomed to it. And we were very poor early. Just weren't going after the footy hard enough. And thankfully, as the game went on, we got a bit better, but still got a bit of work to do, I think.
Yeah, well, David Neitz retiring, the emotions were stirred up, but you guys, the class came out towards the end.
Yeah, probably just a couple of good goals at the end. You know, a little bit of talent. Junior Rioli was very good towards the latter part of the game, and I think when you do an all-round effort and you finally get to come back into the game, we got a good rocket at half-time and finally got over the top. But they were very, very good.
Well done, mate. Nice fat lid too.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So the Hawks win their first 9 games of the season. They've never done that before. It was 97-78. He's a class act, is Sam Mitchell. Russell Robertson, well, a frustrating day for him. He kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. It looked like it might be a big day. Well, what a day for the Indigenous players, and Chance Bateman again has starred. Ricky.
Special moment for you, mate, leading the side out on this Indigenous weekend.
Yeah, it was. You know, the Indigenous round means a lot to all the Indigenous boys playing. So, great initiative by the AFL to showcase what the Indigenous boys bring to the game.
There's a few boys out there today too, weren't they, putting their skills on show?
There was. It was a pretty special round for us, and all the boys contributed today, so we're pretty happy.
It was a good week, another test next week with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, big test for the Bulldogs. I mean, Melbourne were terrific today. Took us to the last, half a footy before we got in front, but it was good to come away with the win.
Well done, mate. Good stuff.
Mate.
Thanks, Chad.
No Indigenous Hawthorn player has won a premiership. And I just wonder if this year they might be a whole heap of them going together at the same time.
There might be 4 on track this year. That will be the image left from this game, is their contribution, the Indigenous players, to this game this afternoon. They just lit up the MCG.
David Neitz started the day with a lap of honour and then spoke to the players. He's going to be awarded the honour of both teams lining up and his opportunity to say goodbye for the last time in many ways and to walk between them. And I reckon he'd be very proud of how his boys went today.
And this is one of the great changes in our game too, how well we fare well, the superstars and champions of the game. In the last 5 years, I think we've got better and better at this. And players from both sides will honour the great player David Neitz that he was, and a champion of the Melbourne Football Club will always be.
Alistair Clarkson running across to be part of that line, and of course, as the motorcade went around, we saw that shake of the hands with the Hawthorn coach who played for Melbourne, and David Neitz.
So a fitting way to end a great career, and it was a wonderful match as well. David Neitz, who started the day with a lap of honour and then speaking to the Melbourne players. And now respect from both sides, isn't it? From
old
those that won today, yep. Some old teammates there.
Another teammate,
Clarkson and Viney involved. And now his beloved Demons. It's just a great moment. One well deserved. Forever the club man, wasn't he?
It's a simple but beautiful tribute to someone's career there.
Yep.
Let's go down with Ricky with David. Ricky.
He was with me, but he just disappeared, mate. I just said thanks, mate. David, how do you feel as you come off the ground for the last time?
Oh, look, you know, it's been a big day, an emotional day, and the boys just really tried their heart out, and really proud of the way they went about their footy today. It was a great effort.
All right, thanks for your time, David. Great career, mate. Well done.
Yes, thanks, Ricky. So the final score here at the G, the top team challenged all day by the bottom team, but in the end they prevailed. It was Hawthorn over Melbourne in a very good game of footy.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.
This program brought